appointment.
Oh, so you're not swimming today. The dentist can wait for you, man. You always wait for the dentist. Let the dentist wait for you.
No, but I made my appointment's at 11. Because I told it's just next door. I was like, I'm going to be a couple minutes
it's like literally now. I thought maybe, okay, you have to.
Oh, man. Okay, hey, good job. Yeah, let's get some Coreweave.
Sharif and Joe, good luck on Coreweave. I'm sure we all want to trade it.
Bang! What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade during the Midday. That's your boy, Joey Options. I am Sharif. And yeah, it is IPO day today. The biggest tech IPO since 2021, Joseph. So we'll definitely have that for you. I've got it up on the side screen. We'll know exactly when it is live. We got Adara at the big dang desk. She'll be keeping her eye on things as well. So shout out to her. All right, who we got? We got the Skips 8. We got, who's this? Misham, what's up? DLV, we got Vern, Racer X9, we got Blackhawk JP, why not? Mitchell, Andrew, and Czar, quadruple 7. Shout out to DJ Resky and the Piper, Blue Arrow, Deer Oil, Pets Buds, Jack's Money, Jacked. We got, who else? Jimmy J, we got Shrek is Life, okay. The Trade Griff, Volky, Patrick Riley. How about Anton? Shout out to my man Anton. He was trading small caps yesterday. That's my guy. Jai Singh, Airy Pages, Becky V. Hi from Medellin, Colombia. I love it. I absolutely love it. I love Barranquilla as well. Beautiful time there. What else we got? Who else we got over here? We got Drops Trades. We got Bart Simpson. Show yourself. Jeffrey Cardoza, we got Dad Trader, there's my guy, Kirk D, Brandon Townsend, Matt C, who else? Stevenson Romero, Tough Aldrin, Amando Trejo, Carlos, Trader Life, Deer Oil, Joseph, as opposed to like whatever else. And yeah, RJ Henry. I kind of blanked out there. I'm sorry. I was trying to make a joke. Didn't work out.
Didn't work out. That's right. They don't always work out.
They don't, Joe. Embarrass myself.
It's just like trading. Yeah. Google guys getting slacked here. Google has agreed to pay $100 million in cash to settle a U.S. class action lawsuit that accused it of overcharging advertisers. Right there, guys. So. Getting beaten to a pulp here is GOOGL, guys.
Good.
Not very good at all, my friend. Down 3.5% and dragging the market along with it. So really tough look. I know we got a lesson today, Sharif. So we're going to touch on real quick what we have for the top performing sectors. And we are mostly red. Utilities up about 1.1% here on the day, guys. The only green sector, energy, one of the better performing on the year to date. Negative 0.16%, and then healthcare, XLV, you can look at that vehicle there to gauge this sector here, guys. 1.7% down on the day. Bottom three, led by the communication sector. See you later, Google. Continuing to bleed here, Sharif. Tech sector down about 1.9%, and then discretionary not looking good. We got Amazon and Tesla, Sharif, down 2.7% on the day. It is ugly out there, folks.
All right, guys, I'm involved in a trade right now. I'm in QNTM for VWAP retracement and a pop back up. Now, this one is a bit bamboozling. It wasn't really a VWAP retracement previously. It is now. And the only reason is because a 20 exponential and VWAP are overlapping on the 5. Bless you, Neil. Here's the deal. This is the one we're involved in. We're in at 11.11. And as you can see, for whatever reason, and I don't give a you-know-what why, it keeps defending off that yellow line. That yellow line on my chart is the 20 exponential and always will be. So anytime you're looking at a yellow line on my chart, it is always the 20. So found support at the 20, found support at the 20, and yet again, after a deep 3 candle on the 5 pullback, it yet again found support on the 20. Now, we're not out of the woods. Reason is, because this current candle that we're involved in right now, the 11.05 candle on the 5-minute, has not made a new high. It has rejected that $0.50 area. So I had a planned DCA, as you can see there, for another ad. I don't think that that's valid anymore, given how far we've gotten away from that 20. So if we come back in, my observation or my belief will be is that we flat bottom break, or we give up the level, excuse me. So what I'm doing is I've scalped out the majority of, not the majority, I've scalped out a healthy amount of the position. I'm going to go ahead and cancel that buy order that I have there in the high, it's at 1094, right? So the mid 1090s, and I'm looking to wet the beak here in front of the $0.5 at 49s, and then I'm gonna sit on the north side of that $0.5 because we know what the $0.5 is. It is a psychological area of both support and resistance for these small cap gappers. So that's what I'm involved in now. I'm going to go ahead as well, now that I've canceled my dip trade, and adjust my stop, or my stop loss, that is. So we're gonna go ahead and look how many shares we got left, and then we're gonna go and we're gonna sit just a skosh below my entry at 1107 to use an Adair term, and we're gonna take out everything there, Joseph. And it's a bit of a wide spread. So if you see a wide spread on the book, you have to account for that in your stop loss placement, otherwise use market orders. And I've explained why before. So 1099, there we go. So we've left that one. This one's either gonna stop me out or it's gonna cook. We'll figure out which one it is in a second. But as Joseph mentioned, we got a lesson today, and I felt it was appropriate given that we have Coreweave, as we mentioned, the biggest tech IPO on North American markets since 2021, to talk about these IPOs. And I didn't actually mean to start the IPO, SPAC, and direct listing lesson on Wednesday. That was just a happenstance, a happy accident. But I'm kind of happy that that is the case. So let's get right down to it. So these are going to be continuation plays for SPACs, for direct listings, for IPOs. So it's basically after the actual IPO itself, how do we trade them? So let's get right down to business. Key definitions, as we always do to start off. Part one, what's an IPO? It's a nice three-letter acronym there. So it stands for Initial Public Offering. It is a company's first sale of the stock to the public, okay? A SPAC, very similar, but not the same kind of vehicle. SPAC stands for Special Purpose Acquisition Company. Essentially, it's a blank check company that goes public in order to raise capital and then later merges with a private firm and then takes it public, okay? That's kind of just to circumvent the process there. That's all you really need to know about that. And then there's also another form of this called a direct listing. And so this is where a company sells shares directly to the public without an underwriter, like the IPO process today that we have with Coreweave. Obi, who's involved? We got Goldman, we got JP Morgan, we got Morgan Stanley, we got a whole bunch of big players underwriting the IPO. The direct listing kind of circumvents that entire process, and you can just sell shares directly to the public through a DL. So those are the three different methods, three different vehicles by which a company can go public, okay? And a continuation play, to focus on today's lesson, is a trade based on price action that occurs after the initial volatility of a new listing, after that initial volatility has subsided, signaling a potential second leg move or a sustained trend. So that's kind of what we're going to try to focus on today, and I'm just monitoring my position on the side there. So part two, why continuation matters. Like, why would we not want to trade the initial open with all the volatility and the potential for big profits and losses, by the way, and instead focus on the continuation? Well, most traders do focus on that day one, but massive moves often occur after consolidation as well. And so the continuation plays allow you to set up for a better risk to reward ratio potential. Not always. Cleaner technicals now that you've actually had an opportunity to allow the price action to develop at key levels, show you where support is, where buyers are stepping in, show you where resistance is, where sellers are stepping in. So you have more developed price action that you can base your trade off. And there's also less FOMO here. I mean, the initial hype has subsided. It's more of I don't want to say a cleaner trade because nothing really seems to be a clean trade these days, but it's a little bit less volatile, okay? So what to look for when we're looking for these continuation plays? So essentially the IPO base or the SPAC base or the DL base is essentially a multi-day consolidation after the initial volatility. Here you're looking for, tight ranges specifically. You're looking also for decreasing volume, and you're looking for support to hold up above key levels, either that volume weighted average price or the IPO open price. You're looking for distinct areas of support to manifest on the chart. What they may be will differ between the different IPOs, SPACs, or DLs. And you should also be looking for volume signals. I know my man Joe would definitely agree with this. Continuation breakouts are often accompanied by volume spikes. So continuation breakouts, not continuations in and of themselves, but continuation breakouts are often accompanied by volume spikes. So here what you're watching for is a volume dry up during that base, that consolidation area that it finds, and then a big surge on the breakout. And the easy way to do that is to look at relative volume, to look at the actual volume bars on the chart on whatever time frame you're charting. Multiple different ways to gauge volume to see whether it's increasing or decreasing, right? So 3 key levels here I want to submit to you guys that we need to look for when we're trading these continuation IPO, SPACs, and deals. 1, the high of day 1, that HOD, that first day play. How high could we get on IPO, DL, SPAC day? Number 2, the opening print. Right? We know that Coreweave was supposed to open up at, or the actual price itself was supposed to be about 47.5. It ends up being 40, but that doesn't mean that's what it's going to open up at, right? There's an auction that's taking place, as Neil was telling you guys, that's taking place pairing buy and sell volume. So the actual opening print could be higher than that 47.50. So you want to see what that opening print is. And then you want to always gauge those psychological round numbers. If you're at that $100 area, that 50, that 200, you guys get it. You want big psychological numbers in view because they act as psychological support and resistance. And that, what's up?
Tesla's really moving here.
Yeah, you want to cover it for a sec?
Yeah, sure. We'll take a quick second there, real quick, guys. Tesla looking really, really nice off of the bottoms. Nice prints all around the map here on some of these big names. You're going to see that isolated pivot, those isolated volume signatures on Google, on IBIT, and you can see that we're starting to print them on the overall market as well, too. So a really good bottoming signal here on Tesla there, guys, and the volume starting to step in.
Yeah,
so nice move back to the volume-weighted average.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then also you got to look at the IPO price itself. So that $40 area will also be important, even if it doesn't open up at $40, which it probably wouldn't. So again, to highlight the high of the day of day 1, the IPO day, the opening print, the psychological round numbers, and that actual IPO price that's earmarked. All right, so that's key levels that we're looking for. But you also want to keep your eye on news and events as triggers, right? You're looking for that lockup expiration date. So what does this mean? So when participants that buy shares before the IPO through the banks, through the underwriters, like the Goldman, like the Morgans, like the JPs, they all buy before we've had an opportunity to buy, but they're also handcuffed a little bit. They can't sell until a certain date. That's what we call the lockup expiration. It's typically, and there's no hard and fast rule here, it's typically 90 to 180 days subsequent to the IPO. Everyone's a little bit different. It's incumbent upon you to know exactly when that lockup expiration is, because that specific day usually has some volatility as people sell and people know that other people are selling, so they want to get in, and there's a whole trade to be had there. So you need to know what the lockup expiration date is. And then you also need to look at, for institutional buys, index inclusions, for example, analyst coverage. So when a stock is new, nobody's covering it, then, if it's warranted, these rating agencies, as well as, the bigger money banks, will have their analysts actually cover the stock. And so you want to see, we've initiated coverage on this, we've initiated coverage on that. So you want to keep your eye out on that. You want to look for institutional buying, inclusions in any indexes, whether the S&P 500, the S&P 600, the S&P 400, and NASDAQ 100, whatever the index is. You want to look out for inclusions there, as well as analyst coverage. And then you want to hear, what should I say, announcements with respect to mergers for SPACs, because you know how they de-SPAC. So you want to keep your eye out for the de-SPACing process. So the SPAC will typically, stay in this state of a range between $10 typically, because that's what the SPAC has to trade at. But then if there's news that they may de-SPAC because they found a company to take public, then the price starts moving a bit more volatile, and then it starts reflecting more the value of the company that's supposed to be taking public. So you need to keep your eye out on that. Some common trading setups now. Let's talk about this. So how do we trade these bad boys? Well, there's the first and foremost is the IPO high breakout. So the price typically here consolidates for a few days below the day one high, and then your entry here would be the break of that day one high accompanied by volume, and your stop would just be below the base. So if it had a base, a consolidation area there, you'd be getting the hell out of there if it broke that level. And your target here, I mean, I don't have to tell you how to trade, but you're typically looking for that 1.5 to 2 time risk to reward ratio for that continuation. And then there's also a different one. I mean, VWAP, we talk, all the time about the volume weighted average price. And typically what you're looking for here is if the price dips below VWAP from day one, but reclaims and then holds that level. Your entry here would be on the reclaim and the hold of VWAP with volume confirmation as always. And your stop would be below the volume weighted average price with the target being that prior high or the breakout zone. What's going on up there, Adara?
What's going on here is a statement from Donald Trump on Truth Social. It's worth noting, apparently he had a phone call with Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney. He called the call extremely productive and said that he and Carney agree on many things. Here's one thing of note, though, in his statement that I do want to point out because I found it pretty interesting. So he said that he and Carney are going to be meeting immediately after Canada's election to talk apparently about politics, business, and all other factors that will end up being great for both the U.S. and Canada. The thing is, they're going to be meeting after the election. He may not be meeting with Prime Minister Mark Carney, so it's unclear if he's looking to meet with Carney specifically or whomever ends up being elected the Prime Minister of Canada. I thought that was an interesting deal coming from Trump's Truth Social statement, but we're going to have to wait till that general election takes place to get any more clarity on that matter. Back to you.
Thank you very much for that, Adara. Yeah, I'm a little worried, put it that way. We'll get to that after the lesson, though. So let's continue on over here. VWAP reclaims. So your price dips below VWAP from day one, but reclaims and holds it. Your entry is on the reclaim of the volume-weighted average price accompanied by volume, and your stop goes below VWAP. And your target here, your beak wetters, so to speak, you're looking for those prior highs or that breakout area, okay, or novel area. And then here, with respect to SPACs, specifically for SPACs here, because there's always rumors circulating about what company they're going to take to de-SPAC, right? So you're looking for SPAC rumors or merger run. In this particular instance, the price starts trending upward before the deal is announced as rumors leak. So you should be on the lookout for irregular price action on the SPAC, usually because there is a rumor there. Your entry here would be on higher lows with increasing volume. So you're looking for trend. You're trying to trend trade this. You're looking for that higher lows, maybe not necessarily that higher high because you've got that flat top, which is an ascending wedge, but you're looking for higher lows. You're looking for buyer exuberance, proof that buyers are picking this up at higher and higher levels every single time. That's what you're on the lookout for here when you're looking for these SPAC mergers and de-SPACing. And then you're using trend lines or moving averages for support, whatever really works for you there. I mean, lots of people have their own way in order to discern trend, whatever works for you, but some suggestions are obviously trend lines and MAs, moving averages, that's it. So some case studies here. Let's talk about some DLs. Direct listings. One of the most popular, at least that I can remember, direct listings in the not too distant past is Coinbase. Coinbase came to market back in 2021, April 2021 that is, as a DL. I don't know if there was a more popular DL in the last 5 years. Maybe I'm wrong. And what happened was it broke the day one high weeks later with a 30% plus move. And this is what it initially did. So this is the 30-minute, and this is the actual April 14th, I believe, 14th is when it came to market. This is what the price action looked like. It spiked up to like $400, and on the same day, guys, it went to $425, and it got as low as almost $300. Madness, right? It ended up closing at around $320. And so that was the subsequent base. This is what I'm talking about. See how it bases? It kind of creates that flat trading zone. Obviously, it's not very clean. You know, it's a $300 name, so there's a good range here, about 40, 50 bucks. But given what it did on day one, this seems very flat. And then look what it did subsequent. So this is now the 4-hour on Coinbase, and this is the IPO date. And over here, so this is April on the left, and then look at that big spike. That's in November. So it actually took out the SPAC opening price about 6 months later, or whatever, however long from, what is the 4th month to the 11th month? Yeah, okay, so a little bit more. So that's kind of what I'm talking about there. So you had to wait quite a while here in order to take out that top. Another example, I believe, is DWAC. Yeah. So I don't have the what's it called? The chart for this because I wasn't able to get the actual SPAC one. I was only able to pull up DJT, but DWAC, we all remember that, ended up becoming DJT, Truth Social. So here is what happened was it was a SPAC merger. The news triggered breakout from consolidation, and then you had that initial spike, that base, and then the secondary continuation about 2 weeks later. Oh, I do have it. I'm mistaken. Okay. So you had that spike. There's the base I'm talking about. Look at that. It seems to do this every time. You have that initial spike, that flatlining for a period of months, and then all hell breaks loose again. Okay? So let's talk about some risk management skills here. These are only suggestions, so, you know, take them with, view them from that kind of perspective. I would personally use tight stops only because if I'm using larger size and on a volatile day, I want to make sure I'm not getting blown out. So use tight stops. Volatility can certainly be extreme. Avoid chasing if at all possible. Wait for that confirmation plus volume. It's confirmation of the breakout level accompanied by volume. And size down until you're consistent with the setup. I get it. Everybody wants to make money quickly and then forget about everything else. But that's not typically most people's stories. So size down until you know what the hell you're doing, and avoid the first few minutes of the day, if possible, to let this setup form, so to speak. So some conclusions and takeaways here: IPOs, SPACs, and DLs. They offer massive opportunities, but patience is key. Wait for consolidation and clear triggers, and then focus on volume, price level, and sentiment catalysts. I hope everybody prints up multiple storms and everybody can retire after today. Joseph.
Yeah, all right, guys. Yeah, I was saying in the chat, I was talking with some people. I'm like, Apple, don't do it. No, don't do it.
What happened now?
It broke through this level of support.
No.
Yeah, so and that's it. Considering what Google's already done here, guys, Meta breaking through some support levels as well, too. Amazon heading for the lows. There's no buyers ready to step in just yet, guys. So be patient and get out of trades when you're supposed to. I'm in the TQs. Long here from 59s, but I'm small size, so I'm going to hold until 58, and if it breaks it, then I'll just have to get out of the trade. But I was looking for that bounce here, guys. We got some nice trading here on RKLB. On that news that they've received the contract from the U.S. Space Force. Very interesting stuff. Ooh. But here we go. It took multiple attempts here, guys, to get this one going. So you can see that we were playing this 5-minute hammer, added to the position, took some off, and then we got stopped out for a little loss there. But as soon as we curled back over, enter the position, add, and then we just partial all the way out and caught the top here. Relatively nice, guys. So that was a good look. We didn't have too much left there, only about 5-10%, not even of the position remaining. And then we got stopped out, and we haven't tried anything else since that on RKLB, that is. Now, let's pull up some IBIT and see what we got going on here. So we got that short right in at the volume-weighted average price, but I was too hyper-focused on RKLB that I'm like, let me just get out of this and focus on the previous trade. And that's essentially what happened there, guys. But that would have been a really, really nice short bias there on Bitcoin today, gapping down. So the overnight session continuing to bleed here in IBIT. And I had some trend lines drawn on BTC. You can see that we failed, and we couldn't construct a higher high now. So it was a lower high there, guys. And then now we just rejected that zone and headed continuously to the downside. Now here's the TQQs that we got going on. We're going to be a little bit more patient. If we can crack this downtrend, So again, I just mentioned that I'm in really small. I'm going to hold this till 58, so that's a dollar stop. If it starts working, then I'm going to add to the position. It's quite wide, but the volatility here in the market is most definitely clear. So you have to give those a little bit wider and start small. If we can crack this, then I think we'll be sitting pretty good. Position board not visible. I think they're still they might be working on it. I don't know if Sharif's in. Okay, yeah, it should be good. So once I make, yeah, exactly. So once I make a trade here or a transaction, then you'll see it pop up, and same thing there. Okay, cool. So they're updating it as well. So it'll be fluctuating in and out, there throughout the day. So here we go. What platform do you guys use for day trading? Asked Mean Genie. Yeah, this is P Pro 8. This is just strictly for our prop firm, right? So you're not going to be able to download this on your own. There's going to be you're going to have to find a different platform in order to trade. But this is the Prosper Pro 8 there. So yeah, exactly. Marcus James, I mentioned Rocket Lab to Bears vs. Bulls this morning. I had a couple good trades on it. And yeah, nice work. It was tough to trade, and that's the thing with some of these lower price names, RKLB. You can see it takes a couple attempts. So I was glad that I just got out right here, and I'm like, okay, if it is going to turn around, and I was just going off of yesterday's price action around 5 o'clock after the market closed. It was trading really, really well on that news catalyst. So I'm like, okay, let's see if we can continue in that trend, but it may take some time. I'm not familiar with exactly how it moves, so you have to be patient with those names. And I'm glad that I got out when we cut through this bottom and the support level here, but then we just got right back in once those signals displayed themselves. And it looked like the market was going to turn around as well too, Sharif.
Yes,
and
sir.
we got a nice bounce in RKLB, so that worked out pretty well. Let's see if we can crack through this trend line on the TQs, and some of these big names can start to recover. And if they don't, then we might continuously bleed. I mean, Google's really weak as today too, guys, down over 3.6%. So a tough look. Apple holding up relatively well, but we're getting a nice bounce here in some of these big names, Sharif.
Thank you very much, DJ Reski, for the 50 Norwegian kroners. Do appreciate that, my man. Thank you so much. Always active in the chat and doing the most in a good way. So thank you very much. Guys, I've weaseled into a new trade over here. LWLG. Kind of a cheaper name, lighter volume, but a decent spread. It's done about 1.8. Adara, you always kill me with that. I know, Adara. I know. I appreciate it. And yeah. Adara is the large spread trader extraordinaire. If you haven't seen her trade in a while, that's why we're always chuckling back and forth about the spread. So just so that everybody has context, Adara, right? Got to give them context. So appreciate that. So LWLG, decent spread right now. Keeping my eye on this one. Anything really below that, 120 area, it's all over, and I'm being nice to it by holding it till that level, because $1.23 is where VWAP is, hence my entry at the $1.25. But we just had a possible mother of all double dang tops here on MYSZ. Now, what's the deal with this one? So this one, it really just started getting back in the groove because it had run quite aggressively in the pre-market. And it made a very definable pre-market high, hence why I got involved with this one. And here's the look. Or sorry, not involved, why I'm looking at it right now. So you know how I feel about these small cap gappers. They gotta take out the pre-market high. If they don't take out the pre-market high, I'm not trading them. So I was watching this one. We had an 830 pop into $1.77. Fine, dandy, fantastic. Now look at this, mother of all rounded bottoms. Look where we topped out at, 175, and then all hell is breaking loose to the downside now, down to about 20 pennies into that $1.55. I will not trade this until and if it clears that 177 area. I will pack my patience and wait to clear it. And the reason I do that is because I don't want to deal with the bag holders and the negative sentiment that the shorts can use to push this down off that pre-market level. So that's what I'm looking at. It's trying to work its way back above $1.70. It's got a great bull flag setup here brewing, but it still has to meet my requirements of taking out that pre-market high. So I'm just going to continue to hang out here. I've got it on the side chart. I've got it on the trading screen. So MYSZ is the ticker I'm talking about. And since I'm yapping about it, let me tell you a little bit more about it. MYSZ. 1.94 million share float, so needless to say, very small, but that is kind of what we're looking for here with these small cap gappers. We're looking for smaller floats so they can become a bit more parabolic, right? When there's less supply, things get crazy. That's why we look for these ones, because they tend to have more outsized moves, the ones with smaller floats. And then the short float on this monster, about 2.25% of that 1.94 million shares is borrowed for short. That's another factor that we look at when we look at the possible, explosion potential for a name. How much or what percentage of all the shares that it has available is borrowed for short. So this one's not big, about 2.25%. So nothing really to write home about there, but it does have a smaller float. So that's what is going to keep me interested in this one. What happened? In any event, so we're going to keep an eye out here. It's doing its darndest to get back into that $1.77. Again, the official high is a $1.75, but it doesn't mean anything to me. It's got to clear that 177, so involved in that. Still keeping my eye here on LWLG. We'll see how this one ends up doing. It's light on volume, so I'm not that optimistic, but we got to trade something. Now, you'll notice that on the side charts over here on these side screen, I have a couple of non-small cap gappers. TSLZ and MSTZ are cheaper names, but they're certainly not small cap gappers. These are inverse Tesla and strategy. I was about to say MicroStrategy. I'll still say MicroStrategy. All right, so TSLZ, MSTZ in focus. Reason is, these are inverse names, that's why they're up. I like TSLZ because of the volatility and the fact that it's a $4 name, so I can size in heavily. Likewise here with MSTZ. So I'm keeping my eyes on these bad boys here, even though they're not technically small cap gappers. Adira, tell us more.
You just mentioned strategy there, Sharif, because I have just posted, as you were speaking, this brand new graphic here on X. This is on TTV Research. Here's a smiling Michael Saylor, a rare photo where he is in fact smiling. And this graphic really visualizes the red bars here are going to be the dollar value of Bitcoin purchased by MSTR on each of these dates, or at least that's when they disclose these purchases. The white line is going to be the closing price of Bitcoin on the dates these purchases were disclosed. So as you can see here, they really were buying up a lot of Bitcoin specifically in November of 2024. The height of these purchases, and this only goes back to September 2024, just more recent purchases, but regardless, over $5 billion worth of Bitcoin purchased this week as of disclosed here on November 25th, 2024. These really dropped, though. We had only, I think, roughly $11 million worth of Bitcoin purchased last Monday. So really lots of ebbs and flows to these purchases, alongside, of course, the price of BTC. You can check this out on X at TTV Research. I have another Michael Saylor graphic on there from a while ago, just contextualizing the company's Bitcoin purchases. Back to you.
Great look there, Dara, man. That's fantastic stuff as always right there.
Yeah, I was thinking a lot about Bitcoin yesterday and just how the ETF has possibly affected the volatility of it, because there's so many ways you can manipulate it now. So you can protect downside movement, you can protect topside movement as well. Yep. So, and that was a debate amongst analysts too, is what is it going to do to the volatility of the underlying asset? And now that so many American institutions own Bitcoin, and I think the majority of it lays over here on the Western side of the world. So you can see that we're getting a lot of choppy price action for long durations of time. So I think we have to be really, really patient with this underlying. The third year of the halving cycle is usually the strongest. We're only in the second, I believe. Yeah, exactly. We are. So I believe it was in April of 24. So we are entering that time frame, but we'll have to be more patient, guys. You can see that I'm in here on the TQs. Yeah, we love Adara's infographics right now. And speaking of we're going to send it over to her, and then we'll get back into the markets here, guys.
This is, I just wanted to mention here, Coreweave. So I'm seeing here in X, apparently Coreweave shares are indicated to open at $43. In their NASDAQ debut, the IPO price is $40. So again, I want to clarify, we were expecting an IPO price between $47 and $57. We got that $40 IPO price now that we're expecting to open at $43. This is the chart, so obviously we have not opened yet. This is a blank chart, but get ready here. CRVW, CRWV, that will be on the NASDAQ imminently. We're going to have to wait and see what happens there with that $43 indicated open price. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Adair. Yes, we'll be most definitely paying attention
yeah.
for that. I know, Sharif, you're on the ball for that
sir.
when that drops. So
We've got it up
yeah,
on the side
so-
as much as I can do. You know?
Yeah, exactly. So you just got to wait for it to come out
Sir.
now and open up. So we'll be patient on that front, guys. But here you can see that we are in some TQs. You don't see it on the board just yet because I haven't made any transactions. I told you about the wider stop. If it starts to work and these big names start to recover, then I'm going to add to the position, and then you'll see my average price and everything along those lines start to step in. But for that, only on the session today, guys, I was just focusing. If I were to pull up my notes, I just had two names. I'm like, Bitcoin for the short and Rocket Lab for the continuation in the long. So I'm glad that we took some trades on that one. Worked out really, really well throughout the day, just being patient. And that was this is the same game plan that we got going on for the TQs here, guys. We'll be patient, wait for this potential bottom to come in. I mean, we're right back down to where we started a couple weeks ago, guys. So giving back all those gains, and I mean, being down 15, 20%, when you get those 5% bounces, you got to look to take some profits just from a price action standpoint. There was no definitive bottoming signals, nothing saying, hey, we're ready to stay turned around. It just looked like more of a pullback, and that's the feels that I'm getting because we have now engulfed those previous weeks that we've recovered just in a matter of a couple sessions. So the Great Depression coming. No, I don't think so just yet, but Charlie Twins, bro, my homeboy say I look like Sharif. Okay, all right, that's a good thing. He's a handsome guy. So if you look like him, then good stuff.
Who said that? He looks like me?
Charlie.
Hey.
Oh, Sharif's twin bro. Yeah, all right, there you go. So
I feel bad for you.
yeah, no, stop it. Good stuff here, guys. But again, we're gonna go across the board. This was a really nice bottoming signal here on IBIT. You can see that outlying volume signature doesn't break the low and slowly starting to recover. So that was a really good trade that I'm unfortunate that I missed out on. And then Tesla had a great print as well too, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
So another beautiful signal here, bottoming, nice engulfing candles, and then you get those indecision prints and you turn all the way back towards the volume weighted average price. And then what other one? Google has a good one, but it's not recovering. That news catalyst might be too strong and too heavy for it to really get that move back to VWAP. As Apple wants to continue to drag lower, we don't see any signs of Apple slowing down to the moving to the downside, that is, because you can see we broke through this support level and then we came right back and now we're constructing lower highs. So if Apple wants to drag, continue to move lower, then I believe it's going to drag the market down with it. NVDA looking like it wants to somewhat rebound as well too, just to go through some of these big names for you guys to see what we can what the outcome can be here in the short term in the market. So we'll be patient. If we can break through this resistance zone and head back to VWAP, I do believe that it's going to drag the Qs and the SPY up with it there, Sharif.
Yeah, I was just looking to see what the conversation was like between your friend Mark Carney and Donald. And chat said, like, I'm loading up the Wall Street Journal article where chat got this information, but Donald described it as extremely productive, noting that they agreed on many issues and plan to meet immediately after Canada's election, which is the 28th, literally 30 days from today, or no, March is 31 days, so a little bit more in a month. To discuss politics, business, and whatever else. The two leaders are particularly concerned about the 25% imposition of tariffs. So I'm definitely keeping an eye on that, looking definitely to read this article a bit further. Because it is a big deal over here, guys. I mean, like I was telling you guys yesterday, the premier, which is like the governor of our province, which is like a state, he was giving a media interview and he looked like he had just seen a ghost. Like the dude's worried. Like, you have no idea how much our, like, manufacturing base relies on autos and exports to the United States. Just to give you some idea here, like, one part can cross the border like 10 times before it's actually delivered to a consumer, which is crazy. I mean, think about that part going in 10 times, getting taxed every single time. That's madness, right? Unless we're gonna have like some sort of, rule where like, how do you even do that though, where a part doesn't get taxed? Because it's part of a bigger product and that product gets taxed. So it's a weird situation in any event. It's obviously having an effect on these markets, and I think that the better or the sooner this gets resolved, however it gets resolved, whether it's favorable, more favorable for the States, more favorable for Canada, whatever the situation, you just want that certainty so we can kind of move past this and then look to the fundamentals of the company. At least I'm waiting for that. In any event, LWLG, we're doing real well over here. Multiple beak wetters to the high side. And now I'm sitting at 31s for the next beak wetter. It is a respectful move above the volume weighted average price. It used VWAP clearly. Here's a defend. My only concern about LWLG, number one, it's not giving you that much in notional. Number two, it is light on volume, but that light on volume issue has not converted into a wider spread. So that's the situation right now, keeping my eye on that. Brenrex, LTRY, no runner news. I think I already got that up on the side chart if I'm not mistaken, and I lied, I don't have it. LTRY, let's have a look here quick. Oh, Brenrex comes to the rescue again. This is a good looker over here. Okay, so we're gonna load this one up on a trading screen. Let's load up LTRY, which is lottery.com, one that we know for sure, and we know that that's a former runner. I don't even need to look at the daily chart. I've traded this before, so I know that it's running. It does have news, my man. It did come with news right here. Lottery.com, three lawsuits against Lottery.com dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can't be brought again, which is super interesting over here. That definitely helps the company. Here it is, Lottery.com, and yeah, so same thing. So I'm just looking for one with a bit more deets. Here it is. Lottery.com, leading technology company, announces the following favorable judgments from the U.S. District Court of the Western Districts of Texas, Austin Division. You can screenshot that if you'd like. So a good catalyst right now coming in for our friends at Lottery.com. Contingent liabilities are brutal. You don't know whether they're going to be, $10, $100, $50, you don't know what the liability is going to be because it hasn't manifested. In any event, let's take this trade as it's breaking out, see if we can weasel some profits on this, Joseph. Let's set up here at some key levels and then see if we can extract some profitability on this monster. Lottery.com, a former runner, one that we know. I'm a defender of this one until $1.10, so I will risk about 8 pennies, give or take on this one. Let's see if it can continue to run. Good catalyst midday. That came in, Joseph, at 11:37, so it's a few minutes old right now, as it's about 11:43. What do you got there, my man?
Yeah, good look there, guys. The volume really stepping in and nice engulfing candles. I mean, we're talking about Apple taking another leg to the downside here, guys, and dragging the market with it. Google running into some resistance as well, too. So not a good look. There's no buyer stepping in. So we'll get out of this trade at the break of this downtrend line, because I just don't think that we'll be able to hold up. And if we are going to recover, we'll be patient and wait for those signals that display that we're ready to turn around. It seemed like they were in, that they've been printed, but just the buying program is not stepping in, and that's why we're not getting that move to the top side there, guys. So, Joseph, RKLB doesn't want to take VWAP every time it takes a 120 EMA and then drops. I mean, it's really hard for a lot of these names to claim the volume-weighted average price right now, Marcus, because look at Tesla running into it. That's a name. iBit was running into it, and some stocks couldn't even breathe back up to those levels. So that just displays how weak this market is right now, guys. So if you think that buyers are going to step in, it's Friday as well too. So you have to be a little bit more patient. It might be more of a slow grind here for us to crack through some of these resistance zones, guys. But again, not really getting those participants stepping in how we would like. So we'll be really patient. If there's anything you guys want to go over, then we shall do so. But let's take a look at the chain, as we usually often do, to see what the market is telling us today, guys, and where we might find a potential bottom, right? So we'll look at some open interest on today's expiration cycle, and it's nothing crazy. I mean, there might be a bottom around 470. What did we trade to today's trade? 471.08. So a potential base there. You can see that we've tested it multiple times and we haven't proceeded lower. So we'll be a little bit patient, man, but there's no real demand to the top side, and you can see that buyers are not really participating. So I would say there's more of an imbalance on the put here, guys. PCR heightened, so that means more individuals buying puts than calls, and we know that the volatility index, the fear index, the VIX is most definitely heightened today. We'll take a look at some of its levels right now. I highly doubt that we're north of 25 on it. because I think that would be really, but we might be considering some of these names are down 2-3% here, guys. So we'll take a look at the VIX. Oh, okay, so yeah, we're right at 20. I mean, we are running back into some levels that we were a week or so ago. So we have to pay attention to that. So nice recovery. We didn't get right back to the lows. And if it did, that would just be like, hey, guys, there's no fear in the market. I don't think that's the case here. You can see that the volatility is definitely starting to pick back up. It did die off for that little pullback here, but now picking up some steam to the top side, Sharif.
Upside. B. Davis, my man there. What's up, fellas? Sharif, Joseph. The market is still bleeding. I thought it was going to bounce by now. Look, brother. I feel you, but there is really nothing we can do because we are market observers, not market movers. So long as that is the case, we got to kind of move with the beat of somebody else's rhythm. You know what I mean? And so it is what it is. We're going to have to continue to deal with the uncertainty that tariffs bring. And look, everybody wants to rag on the policy, and, obviously it's not good for our country, but I'm trying to be objective about it. And the fact of the matter is, we're like in the top of the first, bro. You know what I mean? To use a baseball analogy here. And shout out to the Jays, who did very well yesterday. Fantastic. Yes, Adara, they lost 12-2.
That's crazy.
Sorry, Neil. I know you were at the game. My bad, Neil.
Tough look, man.
Yeah, it is a tough look. So, like, what I'm trying to say is, I think that we're just still very early on, and we're going to have to deal with the volatility because that is just part and parcel of the game. All right, so we added at the volume-weighted average price here on LTRY with the beak at 14, but we're by no means out of the clear right now because this is still a red candle, and it's an engulfed candle, meaning that the previous candle has engulfed it from both the high side and the low side. So I'm trying to extract some profitability here on LTRY as it got a positive news catalyst with the beak at 14s. I'm waiting at 16s, 18s, 20s, 22s. Let's see if this one wants to run. It doesn't feel like a day where there's going to be a lot of parabolic movement in the small cap gappers. There was one really in triple digit territory this morning, not much else. So we'll see what we get, and we won't get upset here, but we're going to give this one the old community college try and see what comes from it. So I've placed my stop, and I just got stopped out. It lost the bid there. So we wet the beak a little bit, but yeah, too much zig and zag on this one. Maybe I had too tight of a stop here because it's right back up. Any event, I'll keep my eye on it. Doing well right now on LWLG. Still waiting for that beak wetter at 31s. It's an elusive target, but we are putting in higher lows, defending that volume-weighted average price. So keeping my eye on this one. I will put LTRY now instead of QNTM because that one has broken down substantially. So QNTM loses its spot on the coveted side chart list, LTRY. There we go. So we'll keep an eye out on that one. So if it really starts breaking out here, we'll be made aware of it. Diaz, 29. Sharif, take a look at Wolf. I saw some dude in the chat just screaming about Wolf all morning. And I was like, what's this guy yelling at? And I had a look, and I was not too impressed. So we'll have a look again here. I mean, it's I don't usually short these. So thank you for this. This is fantastic. It's down 48%. We can make money both going north and south in the market. So I totally get that. This looks like it's dying here and looking like it's going to flat bottom break. This is the 15. Let's zoom in a little bit more. Go to the 5. That's the 3, excuse me. Yeah, so this one looks very flat bottom breakish at around 2 3/4, give or take. But it feels like it's a lower high type situation where you're shorting the pops. This is kind of like that bear flag pattern. This exactly, like flip this up, right? Would you think that looks like a bull flag? So if you think it looks like a bull flag, having been flipped up, it's likely a bear flag. Wolf, great look. If you love shorting these small cap gappers, not something that I typically do, Joseph, all that much, but maybe I should because it definitely presents you with opportunities. So yeah, thank you for that. We'll keep an eye out on it. All right, back to LWLG, still showing me 31s, still unable to cross. So I'm still going printless here on that level. But I'm keeping my eye on lottery.com because LTRY, that is, because it's still, even though we got stopped out, I'm absolutely interested in getting back in. How much did I lose on this, by the way? Not bad, not too bad. So we're negative on it, full disclosure, but I'm still interested in getting back in here, but at the right level. Joseph, what do you got?
Yeah, good look there, guys. Sorry, I just added a little here. I don't usually do that, but here I just put a little in just so you guys can see the position board. So I'm still gonna have the same risk profile. We'll get out at the lows, 58.20s. But it looks like Apple wants to just drag it lower. We're not getting that participation. But what I did is I asked the production crew. So Sharif, yesterday you were aware of the poll that we did. Are you watching? Are you learning? Or are you trading as well? Yeah. Are you doing both? So now I want to get a little bit more in depth in that. So what are you trading on here, Sharif? Because we talk about the gamification in the market. Are you trading on a desktop? Are you trading on a laptop? Or are you trading on your phone?
You sound like Meta.
Meta.
You're trying to get everybody's data.
Yeah, I gotta try to get. Yeah, man, I'm selling the data, man. I'm selling the data. That's it. That's what we gotta do. So we're gonna get that up there, and just put it in the chat there too, guys. Are you trading on your phone, desktop, or laptop? I'm curious to see what everybody is trading on. So that is interesting stuff. I know that I first started on a laptop, then I got a desktop, and yeah, that's how I did. I never really, other than like getting more experience, I never went too like in depth on the phone. But you do make transactions on the phone. But I wasn't like focusing on day trading on the phone.
You and I talked about this all the time. Like you can legitimately, if you do your proper charting and analysis like on a desktop, why can't you execute a swing or even intraday trade on the phone?
On your phone.
But like scalping and stuff like that?
No, you're not gonna get the good fills or anything like that. No real-time data. Okay, let's see what everybody needs. Multiple devices and options too. All right, let's go. Phone, like the phone's coming in hot here.
I love it, eh?
Yeah,
I'm
iPad
going desktop.
Pros, yeah.
See what people say here.
Yeah, we're on the desktops here. Yeah, a lot of people on the phone. Apple Watch, somebody said.
Apple Watch, that's lies. That's cap.
Yeah,
that's absolute cap.
No way. There's no way. You're probably catching some tough fills there on the Apple Watch. So who wants us to accept the cookies getting added data? Yeah.
You're getting any fills at all, bro.
Yeah, exactly. I don't even know how.
Surface Pro, I can get behind that.
What do you say?
Surface Pro.
Oh, okay.
So it's like essentially like the Microsoft little tablet things. Yeah,
okay, yeah, that's fair. 2 laptops, 2 screens, says drop trade.
Okay.
Trading on, well, that doesn't make any sense. But yeah, phone is insane. Yeah, that is quite wild there, guys. But anyways, back into the market. Good Kindle. Okay, 3 laptops, phone when I go to, okay, so there you go, Donkey Trader, you're tapped in at all times there, so you're bringing it everywhere you go, even to the washroom it seems, so it's all right, you gotta take a break and your eyes off the screen once in a blue moon, so most people who trade on their phone, okay, I'm not gonna repeat that, but all right, very interesting stuff, man, good to see you guys all participating on that front.
Good vibes. Man.
Yeah, it is really good, but man, Sharif, I don't know, Google and Apple continuously raining on this parade here today, brother. As the market was bleeding, Apple was holding up relatively strong, but now cracking through some key support levels and making it look like it wants to drag the market another leg lower here, guys. So not finding those bottoms just yet. And don't forget, it's Friday. The volume usually does step off a little bit early here. So we'll just have to be patient and wait to see if we're going to get that turnaround. We still haven't cracked the lows on the Qs, and that's when I'm going to get out of this trade. So hopefully we can get a bounce before that happens. But it does look like some of these big names want to take a crack lower. It's crazy. Amazon was trading at 206 literally earlier in the week, now at 194. Feels great to be in those calls. So yeah, maybe we'll get soft out of that one. Don't want to give too much back. We were nicely in the money. So we'll tighten the stop on that one on those calls. I did have some short calls against it as well, so the damage of the unrealized being lost won't be too bad. But again, we're just giving up all those gains, and that bounce didn't look too good here. I'll pull up Amazon for you guys real quick before I send it back to my guy. AMZN. So yeah, here we go. Running into those support levels. No bottoming signals right here. Let's take a look at it from a daily perspective. Here, guys, and now just heading right back towards those lows. All this buying pressure and these bottoming tail wicks not holding up very well for us there, Sharif.
Yes,
Looks like we might crack it to the downside.
Yeah, it's real ugly right now, Joseph. In anything large cap, even mid cap, guys. Like I'm looking at my side charts over here. I'm just gonna swing this in. I just want you to have a look how red. These are all my watch lists. Yeah, everything and their mother's cousin. Biotech, the only kind of outlying stock there, or dangerous group. If you look at value as well, we're likely to see some nat gas is obviously strong. Adara told us this morning that utilities were strong as well. That's normal. They're counter-cyclicals. So when the overall market doesn't do that well, the counter-cyclicals typically step up. And you can really tell when the market's really, really weak, because then everything will be red and the counter-cyclicals will just be like the regular cyclicals. So that's the situation. I'm back involved here. Well, very briefly that is, and now we're going to get stopped out of lottery.com with some slippage there. Tried to get out at $1.06, but the slippage got me out at $1.02. So we'll be 0 for 2 on LTRY, and that's my cue to take it off the side chart. I won't go 0 for 3 on it. I obviously don't have a read on it, so let's execute on things that we do have a read. So I'm taking off LTRY, and I put LXRX. Shout out to Bovin, who told me about LXRX, and we're going to talk about this one in a second over here. I want to bring in the side chart. I've got one side chart earmarked for Coreweave, so we'll have to use the white charts today as the side charts. LXRX, this looks awfully good, but as I was telling Bovin in the chat, who brought this to my attention, it has a definable, very definable pre-market high at 8 a.m. This bad boy started really moving at 7:30. That's normal. In the pre-market, if you're not used to these small cap gappers, let me give you a little bit of information. So typically news releases in the pre-market, it's not a hard and fast rule, but it's most of the time. The news releases will come at on the hour or on the half an hour. So like 8 a.m., 8:30, 7, 7:30. So oftentimes what you see is the price spike on these small cap gappers in the pre-market right on the hour or on the bottom of the hour, okay? And the idea here is to watch for the algo spikes. The algos are going to read it and disseminate it and trade on that information way faster than a human can. And so you're never going to be first as a human, that is. So you'll have to take after the algos in any event. This one started popping off right at 7:30, right when that news headline released. And just in case you're wondering what that news headline is, here it is, right at 7:30, Lexicon Pharmaceutical announces exclusive license agreement with Novo Nordisk, as Adara says, get it, Adara, for LX9851. I don't know what that is, nor do I care, but the idea here is to wait for that pre-market high, which is at 77 1/3 pennies, to get taken out. Once and if it gets taken out, we can participate in that. Shout out to Bovin for pointing this one out to me. It's already done 91 times RVOL. That's crazy, right? Well, that's what we're looking for these outsized names. We want the volume on our side. We don't want to be trading something with light volume. So LXRX on watch, but I've put an alert at around 73 pennies or so, something like that, to be made aware of that pre-market high before it does happen. Coreweave chart, we're still holding on over here, waiting for CRWV, a new IPO, the biggest tech IPO in North American markets since 2021. So that's what we're waiting on there. As soon as that opens, trust me, bro, we will let you know about that. Let's talk about some of these. So we have a few small cap gappers that we haven't talked about quite yet. TZA, and as I mentioned, I've got a couple here that are not small cap gappers but trading like them. MSTZ, which is an inverse strategy, and TSLZ, which is an inverse Tesla, trading really well here. But we got Adara first.
I actually want to provide some more context here in Coreweave. I'm seeing this coming through an X. This is from Zero Hedge, but I'm not seeing a specific citation for this number. But apparently, Coreweave is said to sell 50% of its $1.5 billion IPO to 3 buyers. So it's going to be a pretty tight IPO here. We know with ARM, about, I think, 90% of that stock was, or 70 to 90% was being owned by SoftBank. So it looks like here, of this $1.5 billion IPO, 50% of it is apparently going to be sold to just 3 buyers. So that just coming here from Zero Hedge. I also posted here on X, I guess a post from Bespoke about the indicated open price. You can check that out on X at TTV Research. No lesson of the day today from Neil, so I can go over some things here quickly too to watch in the market. We can take a look here. This is Coreweave's blank chart, which hopefully soon will be full with things. I will be watching CRWV CRWV. The second I see something on that chart, I will let you all know. Lululemon here bouncing nicely after its earnings, nicely off that bottom, though still below that $300 level. We have TSLA pretty weak here as well. This one reversing here now near lows again. And a lot of these crypto names, particularly weak. MSTR down about 6%. As Sharif mentioned here, there is that short version of MSTR as well. So be careful in this market. Lots of volatility and lots of moves, though. Donald Trump is not scheduled to speak or sign any executive orders that I know of, and I'm not seeing anything there as well. Apparently, he will be at a swearing-in ceremony at 1 p.m., so we'll keep an eye on that. But Fed's bossy here coming through at 3:30 and Fed's bar at 12:15. Back to the guys.
For that, Dara. Yeah, guys, I mean, taking another leg lower is Amazon and Google, so tough look. Maybe we'll get in at the bottoms here. I'm glad that I got out of this trade here, so that's the first loss of the day, so not too bad. Rocket Lab was okay, and it started to pick up some volume again after we were talking about it here shortly. Oops, RKLB. Pull it up. We don't want that. Blue Ocean. We don't want the Blue Ocean, Sharif. Okay?
No, I don't want Blue Ocean.
No, we don't want that. Hold on. Why you got to do this to me?
Man, you know, anytime I
RKLB.
buy anything off Blue Ocean on the brokerage at home, I get like this message saying, oh, the fees might be more expensive.
Yeah. What's up with that?
And I look
never
at like
bought
it's like
anything off
15
it.
cents more. I'm like, calm the hell down.
Yeah, they just have to. Yeah, I know. Like, come on. We don't need to know about that little 15 cents here and there. But yeah, here we go. A nice bounce here, but moving sideways in Rocket Lab, still constructing higher lows, which is a positive sign. I'm not going to try to grab the bottom here on the Qs just yet because it does look like IBIT's going a little bit lower. Apple is slowly turning around, but we got the names of Amazon putting in a new low and Google as well too, guys, just getting absolutely beaten to a pulp here, Sharif. Probably close to down to 14% on the day, so not, or 4%, sorry, on the day, so 3.8 and continuing to move lower and lower. So those bottoms are going to be most definitely harder to find. I do like that Apple is starting to turn around. You can see that we're slowly curling over and putting in a potential base, so you can have a good tight risk profile right there, guys. At the crack of 1920, a little bit below that, so you can give it to 1880s, and then you can get out of the trade if it doesn't want to bounce. I think that see, that's the thing. It's so hard to, obviously, with incomplete information, and that's what we consistently work with here in the market. But it's like, are we going to turn around? What is the tape telling you? What is the book telling you? And what are the big names that really move the market also telling you? So I just don't see a bottoming quite yet. I could be totally wrong. I would like to see a little bit more of that rounded curvature coming into the price action before we look for that move to the top side. Yeah, top side. Pug Life, waiting for PLTR to make that next leg down. 85 is the next put wall. It needs to break to move down to 80. Okay, yeah, I'll take a look at that put wall there on PLTR to see what we got going on and if that might be in the works, if it's large. I mean, we got a lot of options expiring today too, Sharif. So yes, 85, 14,000 open contracts, and there you go, Pug Life. You're looking at the same thing as me, so good luck there, my friend. Has to get through 85 to get to those 80 contracts. Is that going to happen today? I don't think so. There's not, like, again, I mentioned that it's Friday. Volume starts to die off relatively quicker on Fridays, but we can get a bounce. We'll be patient, and we're going to look for those put walls to act as levels of support to see if we do get any of that oversold bounce here in the market, bro.
Well, I just looked back at CNBC to see if they have that red moniker. Market sell-off, panic, everybody. It's time to panic. Yeah, I love when they do that. They're a little bit slower to put that green one on their market rally, but they love that market sell-off. They love eliciting emotion, right? Like, that's what, that's what humans thrive off on.
I'm in none. Sorry, Tim.
Yeah, go ahead,
none just said, what positions are you in? Why are they not visible? None. I'm in none. That's why they're not visible.
Yeah, that's typically what happens.
Right.
All right, guys. A new small cap gapper, excuse me, it's not a capper. Well, maybe it is. Probably stopped me out. No, seriously, though. A new small cap gapper has weaseled its way onto the scene. It goes by the ticker NFGC. It is trading on the Amex network, so you got to have Amex permissions in order to weasel a trade. Here, we thankfully do with Real Trading, the best dang prop firm around these parts. So this one's been very respectful, as you can see, of the trend. A bit of a deeper retracement here, a bit of a bamboozler. It did lose VWAP. but for the most part, on the way up, it has been respectful of the 10 exponential moving average on the 5 with a decent amount of volume. Now, it's printed about 2.25 million shares of volume on the day, which is not really that much for a $1+ name, but it is holding trend. So I'm trying to base my trade here off the 10 exponential moving average. If it loses it, that's fine. We'll look to set up a little bit differently, possibly at that $1.25, and that $1.25 is the volume weighted average price currently. So I've weaseled into very small shares over here. I have a planned dollar cost average at the $1.30 area because that's where the 10 exponential is. So if it has a bit of a deeper retracement into that 10 EMA, I'd like to get the bigger position with the ultimate out being the loss of that $1.28. The $1.28 is a 20 exponential moving average, and then I'll look to set up at the volume weighted average price if it is appropriate to do so. So currently break even on it right now as it's rejecting that $1.33. We'll pack our patience, see if this one wants to ride trend. It's only up 14.5%. Probably behooves me to give you some information on it. NFGC is a ticker, and Trade Ideas tells me that it's got about 118 million share float, which is a little larger for small caps. It also doesn't have much of a short float, to be quite honest, about 3.16% of that 118 million shares is borrowed for short, so not exactly a parabolic setup on this particular name. So we'll see what we get there. Trying to pack my patience. Still involved, as you can see, with LWLG. Taking out about 4 beak wetters there. The 5th still eludes me at that $1.31, I believe. It is coming back down, but it is still putting in higher lows. At least that's been my observation here on this kind of bull flag, extended bull flag setup. It's about 25% in the green. I add at the volume weighted average price here. So I will add, which is at about $1.24, $1.25. That's essentially already my entry. We've taken some out there. So if it does come back in to my to the volume weighted average price, I will add. But the beautiful thing about adding at a very key area of what you perceive to be technical support is if it loses it, you stop out. Give yourself a little bit of a buffer, 1, 2, 3 pennies, depending on the nature of the stock, how volatile it is, and what the range per candle is. But yeah, the beautiful thing about getting in at that key area of technical support is if it loses it, you don't end up losing that much, right? Because you got in super close to where you think this is the right level, and if it loses that level, I'm out. So I will be adding at $1.25. So let's go ahead and throw that on there right now. We're going to go 125 and we'll throw in an ad there. So I'm keeping my eye out on that and keeping my eye out currently on NFGC. Somebody in the chat, and I think it was a really good question, he's like, why are these guys going against the trend? And I have no idea what you mean when you're talking about trend in small caps. So the small caps, they march to the beat of their own drum. I mean, the market can be down 2% right now, which it is, Joseph, 2.05% on the NQ, 1.5 on the ES. And small caps can be strong. It's not always the case, but they tend to kind of do their own thing. They don't tend to follow the market per se. Now, there are times where, there's just weakness in the overall market and there's not too much participation to the long side on these small cap gappers. But, we'll see. We'll see. I've seen this story before, so let's keep an eye out on that. I also want to show you guys a ticker that I was trading earlier, 0 for 2 on, by the way. It goes by the ticker LTRY, lottery.com. Got a good headline midday that a couple of lawsuits were dropped with prejudice, meaning they can't be brought again. And I got involved in this one, and I was 0 for 2 on it. And look at this. This is what we call, around these parts, a Christmas tree retracement. It pops up, it's green, and then it pops down, it's red, echoing the lovely colors of the Christmas season. But the point to tell you is that this is the algo spike we were talking about earlier. When the news headline hits, the algo reads the article far faster than any human can, executes on what it read far faster than any human can. So you end up getting that huge push up, and then the humans get involved, and then sometimes we got to move back down. It's not always the case that happens, but in this case, it certainly did. Let's keep an eye out here on NFGC. Just took out the highs there, so we'll see if we can wet the beak here. We're still not crossing 34s, so I'll just take a little bit out there, and we'll see if we can get that ad at the, oh crap, I'm going to have to add again here because I don't have too many shares, so we'll look to add a little bit there. Not much else, Joseph, except MSTZ. So a strategy derivative over here, not an options derivative, but MSTZ is like the inverse of micro strategies. It's coming back into that high. So this is a bull flag here on MSTZ, which would mean that if I looked at MSTR, it'd be likely a bear flag. So MSTR, let's see if that's the case. Exactly the opposite. Look at that. This is MSTR. Look at this, Joseph. MSTZ. It's beautiful, bro.
Inverse,
I love it.
You're gonna play the flat top break on there?
I'm thinking about it, or a bull flag continuation, which means that this thing continues to tank, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Shout out to Michael Saylor. I hope he's doing well.
Yeah, I hope you're doing well.
Adara says, get it, Saylor.
Yeah, I hope you're doing well, Mr. Saylor.
Sir, what do you got?
You think he's stressing out? I don't know if he's stressing out.
I don't know, bro. I mean, he dealt with 2022.
Yeah.
I mean,
So there
think
you
about
go.
what he
So-
went through there.
Right.
Everybody, like, where'd it go? 19,000?
Yeah,
Was it
something.
19,000?
Yeah,
It was
something
stupid,
around
right?
in
Like,
those neck of the woods.
yeah.
Exactly.
So, I mean, if he can deal with that, like, we got to give him
think
some
he'll
credit.
be okay?
Right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I've been getting some mixed feelings about Bitcoin, but we'll try to void out all that noise and just stick to
Big
the
picture, baby.
Yeah,
Big
exactly.
picture, baby.
Stick to the big picture. Speaking of that, guys, here we are added to this position in the TQs. I'm just risking the low a day, so that's about 35 cents a risk here. So we'll see if we can hold up. If these names want to get a little bit of a bounce, we're going to try to participate. I got out of the original trade. So you can see I was in here, sat through a lot of it, started really small, and then I essentially added nothing here. But then I like the risk a little bit more in this second trade because I can just get out at the low a day, just a little bit below that 58 to give yourself some room in case they hit you with some whipsaw moves or something. But let's see if we can hold on to this. And yeah, I don't know. See, that's the thing, right? It's like, so I know the individual in the chat said, why aren't we trading with the trend? Well, we try to, even though we do counter trend trades. It's not that easy. Like, if it was that easy, then you would just follow the trend every day, and then you'd be probably the best profitable trader on the planet. But it's not. We look for reversions. We look for multiple setups, and it's just pattern recognition. What do you see? So again, hopefully you're with the trend, and I mean, we're going to do certain things.
Some comments here that are funny, bro. Scott Tomlinson, it got held back, but I'll read it anyway. He never stresses out. You ever see that guy talk? There could be a counting down next to him, and he doesn't give a
Who?
Sailor.
Oh, yeah.
He just doesn't care.
Yeah.
A day trader cut. It's not Sailor's own money. He's still asleep like a baby if PTC goes to zero. I don't know about that, bro, but yeah, I get your sentiment there in that he's a kind of a cool customer. I don't know if it goes to zero, how cool he'll be. But yeah, I think, he's seen worse is what I was trying to say earlier, Joseph, in 2022 when we had that big boy retracement. So day trader cut goes on to say, Sailor has so much BTC. If they open up a short position before selling their longs, they should bank nicely. That's interesting. Okay. Yeah, so we'll keep an eye out on that. Okay, so we got a couple of prints there on NFGC as it continues to trend to the high side. But I did exhaust my outs there. I did not trade this correctly. Just tell you the truth. So I'm leaving these dip trades here to get more, neither of which filled. I was of the bias that this would come back in and test this, hence why I took it out. I don't really want to punch in at highs. I'm going to wait for a retracement into that $1.32, $1.31. That's where the 10 exponential is. We'll continue to watch NFGC here, even though it is a bit of a slow mover. It's got a respectable pattern on the day. Likewise here with LWLG, still putting in those higher lows, guys. So whether or not it can't take out that $1.31, I'll submit to you guys that this is the inverse of this. It's not a flat bottom break. Flip that on its head. It might be a flat top break. At least that's what I'm perceiving here. I see an ascending wedge, which means higher lows, but essentially that same top. I'm talking about LWLG. It's up about 27.75%. MSTZ just got into the high of the dang day. So that means MSTR is at the low of the dang day. Look at this beautiful bull flag forming right now. Now, whether or not we get a secondary bull flag that forms after this primary one, we'll have to wait and see. You know, oftentimes the first two bull flags, the primary and the secondary, are money. The tertiary one sometimes is a little bit sus. So you'll have to make sure, you know, if you're trading it the right way there. But MSTZ, feeling a little silly that I didn't weasel into this one, but I definitely want something here, possibly maybe in the mid print around 13s if this is to come back and test the range. But it's continuing to put in new highs right now. Every time I look at it, it's a little bit of a new high, which means MSTR is at a new low. So keeping my eye out on that. DBVT was kind of the big boy of the morning, but it's done nothing. Like, I want to mention this because it's up big. It's up 63% and change. But this is what happens when your best move is in the pre, especially at like 4 a.m. Because you have this kind of a huge spike, and then it's done nothing. It's done bupkis, essentially, since about 4:25 a.m. So despite the fact that it's a big percentage gainer on the day, trend has eluded it for the majority of the day. So we'll keep tabs on that one. If it wants to set up appropriately, we'll get in, Joseph.
All right, good look there. I was looking at Mara for somebody here in the chat. How do I like it? We talk about these Bitcoin miners all the time here, guys. We don't love the space. I mean, if you like trading it from an intraday standpoint, by all means. But if you're looking for the long-term investment, I'm not going to give you the nod on that one. I just don't like the space, and just look at the chart, right? All I can give you is the technicals, essentially. So that's just not something I would be looking to get a part of. For the long-term, TQ's looking like it wants to break the lows here. No bottom in sight, guys, as the market continues to bleed. No point in trying to fight this trend right now. So we'll just have to cut our losses on this one as we continue to move to the southeast there, guys. So yeah, another tough loss there on the TQs. That's all right. We'll just wait to fade some of these pops, as that's what seems to be the narrative. So join the trend is right. I don't think that mean reversion is going to come into play. Apple was lagging, still down 2% on the day, but as the Qs were bleeding, Google was bleeding, Apple was holding up steady, but now it's starting to pick up that momentum to the downside and continuously moving lower and lower. And Amazon is bleeding as well too, now down to 193. So yeah, I don't even honestly, I'm gonna leave it at that and take a sip of the old cool Hydration Nation right there, guys. So yeah, another leg down. 470, not looking to be any form of bottom. Don't try to fight this trend whatsoever. Gonna sit on my hands as that momentum really starts to pick up to the downside. So yeah, really, really tough look. Bitcoin here. We'll pull up the Bitcoin chart here just to see what I had going on from a daily standpoint. So yeah, heavy rejection here, guys. I know this is the market cap, I believe. So yeah, it's the market cap, but we had this downtrend and it just rejected it to the fullest. And then now heading back in towards these lows as the market and the Qs are down almost 3% on the day. So yeah, that's all you can do is laugh officially. That's 2.4%, another negative 2+% day here in the market. Still pricing in these tariffs, guys, pricing in recession. Google more down than 25% off of those all-time highs, guys. So yeah, wow, and continuing to move lower, 24.1% from the peak to where we're currently sitting at now, guys. So not a good look. Amazon going right back down to that 20% range as well too, looking like it doesn't want to recover. And I was talking about, so yeah, just a little bit over 20% there. I'll pull it back up for you guys so you can see here. But yeah, tough look here in Amazon. We had some nice bottoming signals, but it looked like that 206 was the out here, and we didn't get out on those contracts, so now we might be risking and sitting in some chop. If we break that 88, then I'm going to be out of the trade. But these engulfing candles to the downside are not a good look, especially with that volume there. So being short bias is in full effect. And honestly, like again, I'm out at Tesla. And I'm happy because now I'm sitting on some cash. So what I can do, even though I'm positioned well in the long term, I can still grab some of these names at a better price. Like I'll grab some more Google eventually at some point, and I'll look to grab maybe some NVDA if it's continuing to bleed now back down to 109. I'm not going to get in Tesla. So yeah, we'll grab some more Google and possibly some NVIDIA. I do believe that we're going to see south of 100 in this name. For some reason, I'm getting 98, 95 vibes from some of these big names. So we'll be patient, look for some of these bounces, but I don't think we're going to get them as we continue to bleed here, running in a consolidation zone from 220 on AAPL, now going all the way down to 218. We'll pull it up here. Yeah, it's just
Zed, it's
did it break
flying,
up there?
bro.
Yeah, there you go. So that inverse coming into play here, Sharif. Good look there on that one. Oh, and Hood. So I was watching some Vlad Tenev. You know, Adara was reporting on this as well yesterday. So they got that gold subscription coming out.
Oh, yeah.
With Vlad working on it. He said he's taking the model from Amazon and Costco there, Sharif.
Yes,
so
sir.
really good look. And what he was referring to is just the loyalty that it brings. And you can use this cool new AI feature that allows you to construct trades and it gives you somewhat advice. So it looks cool. He wants it to be an all-in-one platform. He wants you to hold your all your financial assets in Robinhood, or I guess liquid assets, that is, whether it be the market, crypto, etc. So he has some big plans for this, even though it got the downgrade today.
You know what I think he's doing? I think he's trying to be like the JP Morgan or the Morgan Stanley for Gen Z,
yeah.
or even like younger millennials.
I agree with
you. Know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally agree with
he's offering them like wealth management services at a fraction of the cost, and you don't have to have like minimum assets. Like you can't even get a meeting with like a manager at JP Morgan unless you have several $1 million.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
and that's what he was saying too, though, Sharif. He's like, okay, we treat the $1 million accounts like the $20,000.
There you go.
$50,000 accounts.
People appreciate
right?
that kind of stuff.
Exactly,
They'll stay loyal
right?
to you.
And like you said, the new generation, we got the poll up there with the phone. What are you trading on? More people than not trading on their phones.
Crazy.
So that's very, very interesting. Are we going to Adara there? Is that what I heard? Yeah, so there you go, PropX. Test it out there, guys. Lots of stuff with Vlad and Robinhood, even though we are continuously bleeding. Adara, what are we up to?
Get it, Adara.
Thank you, Sharif. Get it, guys. As this market drips lower, I want to point out one name that is not doing that, and that is Lululemon. Lululemon actually bouncing really nicely, just pushing past VWAP. If you're looking for some strength in this market, it might actually be Lulu. I also want to point out this LXRX. This is Sharif. Keep an eye on this one. It's a penny stock, a little bit lower than your level, just dropped a little bit. But this LXRX on the move here. This is Lexicon. I know you mentioned this one earlier as well. It's about 58 cents right now for LXRX. Back to you.
I've got it up here, LSRX. Shout out to the OG Bovin. He showed me that one. I told Bovin that I wasn't game until and if Adara, it took the pre-market high. And that's why I did that, because it didn't take the pre-market high. And we know how these ones end up being. Let's bring in the side chart there. Perfect segue from Adara to talk a little bit about that. LSRX, excuse me, LSRX, there it is. Here's the 3 on it. Show yourself. Where is it? How come it's not? Oh, LXRX, excuse me, LXRX, here it is. We got it on the side chart there. And it tries, it does its best, it clears VWAP, it tries to get into that 77 penny area, and then it drops. And this has been the case with the small cap gappers that can't seem to take out the pre-market high. There always seems to be this negative push down on them. If it's not at, that 60 penny level, it'll be at 70. If it's not at 70, it'll be at 80 until and if it can take out that pre-market high. That has been my observation. Again, these are not my rules. I'm not going to say whose rules they are because I don't want to big them up, but these rules, they are from a very good small cap trader, way, way better than me. And I'm trying to kind of base my trading system around them, and that's one of their rules. So we'll keep an eye out on that one. If it wants to take out that pre-market high, absolutely, we'll get it. But until then, we're staying clear. So MSTZ, I feel awfully stupid for calling this one out and not taking anything on it, given the price, given the setup. Here comes the second bull flag here on MSTZ, or that's what it seems like it's doing right now. There's the first one. You get that consolidation. It zigs, it zags, but it gives you a general bull flag setup. And there's the break through that 3 1/5, 3 1/4, 3 1/3, whatever the hell you're looking at. But it's got 4 green candles in a row, with this loser candle over here at 12 o'clock, pretty much a green setup all the way from 11:40 to currently, except for this one outlying candle in the middle, which ended up making a higher low anyway, so it's fine, even though it turned red. So MSTZ, fantastic look. I would like, ideally, not to punch in at highs, but to actually get this off a key level. So the key level here is a couple. One, you could be looking for that flat top break, the top end of the bull flag range. That's depending on where you're looking at, 3 1/5 to 3 1/3, 13 1/5 to 13 1/3, or you're looking at that 10 exponential moving average. I hesitate to want to use the 10 here because it hasn't shown its propensity on the day to respect the 10. In fact, it's shown more respect for the 20. So punching in because it's at the 10, I'm a little hesitant about that. But the 10 seems to be overlapping anyway with price action resistance, previous price action resistance. So we'll see what we get there. TZA, another one I feel very stupid not having gotten into. Look at this setup. This is very directional. This is an obvious buy program, in my humble opinion, from 940 onwards and maybe even before. Nary a red candle till 1035. It was all greenery. On a day, the market's getting demolished. 2.5%. This thing couldn't stop printing green candles. So when you see outlying names like this, I guess what holds me back is thinking the overall market is red. It's going to pull back, this, that, and the other. I need to get beyond that and just actually execute on the trade. So TZA, MSTZ, and TSLZ as well continue to move up. Good luck. Adair, tell us more.
No, we're going to Trade the Pool, my guy. I like to look on TSLZ there as well. Our friends from Trade the Pool are back to Trader TV. Trade the Pool is a game-changing platform that caps your risk while giving you the opportunity to trade real shares using company capital. That means no more risking your savings. Trade the Pool now offers an unlimited trading period during the evaluation phase. No pressure, no rushing. Take your time, perfect your strategy, and get funded on your terms. Remember, your losses are capped at a one-time evaluation fee, and your profits are unlimited. Head to tradethepool.com and start trading now. There, guys. Scan that QR code. Check out Trade the Pool and see if that works out for you. I seen Katina Man right in the chat there, Sharif. Where is the bottom? So we're looking for that. I pulled up the options chain to see if we see anything. We are now south of those contracts at 470. Let's see if we can get somewhat of a bounce. I'm in some IBIT looking for a potential reversion, a retracement back to VWAP. Are we going to get that today? I don't know, but we'll be patient. We got out of the TQs right when we were supposed to, added to the position. That's all right. Didn't work out how we wanted to. Let's see if the market decides it wants to.
This is the Katina Man's lunch right here. Salmon, couscous with mixed veggies. And then, if you didn't have enough fiber, Joseph, there's more fiber on the other side.
Oh, my guy.
Sorry, brother. I know you're hungry.
Wow, my God. Wow.
What's for lunch? I delayed what's for lunch.
Are we doing
hungry,
this?
eh?
No, well, I mean, you just brought food.
The Taiwanese cookie?
Yeah, it's a Taiwanese cookie from our good buddy Wayner there, Sharif.
What? Excuse me, that's very rude of me to say
what? I'm
like
giving
that.
you something.
I apologize for that.
So there you go.
All right, we'll take half.
All right, you ready?
There seems to be some cream here, Joseph.
There's some something, but I told you guys that you're gonna get it how it is, right? I'm not gonna lie or anything. It smells pretty good for now.
So
the smell test, we get an A+.
Should we mute? Because we're gonna be crunching.
Yeah, we'll mute here. But we're gonna test it here in 3.
They can mute us at
2.
the
You already dove right in.
Oh, bro. I'm a hungry guy. What'd you do there, bro?
I don't know.
You could take another one right there. All right, guys. No, that gets the pass. But kind of a standard cookie, wouldn't you say? I've tasted that before. Doesn't feel anything like novel about it, not gonna lie.
It's Taiwanese though.
Okay, so hold on. No, it's quite good. It's quite good.
I'm gonna give it a 5 there. I don't know, 5. That's
5?
brutal. Yeah, sorry.
Okay,
Yeah,
for
5, no.
cookies? I guess 5. I don't know.
5 out of 5 there. Yeah.
I'd give it out of 10. Because it gives me a bit more room. I give it a 7 out of 10.
That's fair. I think that's a good rating.
It wasn't chewy. It was more crunchy.
Yeah.
That cream added some context there that I can appreciate.
I'll
but
be looking forward to that.
it's like, what's happening over there? It's a trading show, bro.
Man, I told you.
Calm down. Or 3 out of 5. Yeah. Fair.
There you go. Good times here, guys.
We're sorry about this, guys.
Getting the real food reviews. Sorry. From us here, but let's get back into these markets. We're in some IBIT here now. It's all stuck in my teeth. Good stuff here. But I mean, we're running into some resistance zones, guys. Rejecting it. looks like we are getting somewhat of a pullback, but I think it's just somewhat, it's a cover rally here, not really necessarily buyers stepping in and starting a program. Just more individuals covering their shares, people getting out from the shorts, and etc. So if we come back into this range here, I might just have to get out of this trade, Sharif,
yes, sir.
Because the longs aren't like being supported. There's no continuation within them, and it just seems to be a sell the pop narrative. So
I can respect that, man. We're gonna load up MSTZ here because I do like the break. Is this on the MX? It is good because an ETF, obviously. So here it comes. I'm gonna go long 3 1/4. So we're still at 3 1/3. 3 1/4. Look, I'm gonna get in at 3 1/3 small size, but I will be adding if it fails that 3 1/3. I will be adding at 3 1/4. So let's go ahead and throw those out there. So small size at 3 1/3. The majority of the size at 3 1/4. And I'm front running those levels by a penny or two. You know, just in case there's other buyers stepping in there. So here we go with MSTZ. It's up 16.25%. This is the inverse. It's a 2 times leveraged product for MSTR. So if MSTR goes down, MSTZ goes up. Likewise with that other one that I showed you guys earlier, TSLZ. TSLZ goes up if TSLA goes down. That's what some of these inverse products are. There we go. And we just got the entry now for the first time into MSTZ. So let's see if this level holds. So 3 1/3, we got the entry. We're still waiting with another dip trade at 3 1/4. What's the move here? Where do I get out? It loses 13.10, I'm out. Simple as that. Let's put some profit takers at these levels over here. So in case it pops up, we get something out. Simple as that. Let's go and throw them up there and we'll see which way this cookie crumbles. I'm also waiting, guys, by the way, for another ad on LWLG. This came right into my entry, as you can see there. Didn't cross though 25s, so it doesn't print. Sucks for me. So I can punch in at 26, which is exactly what I'm gonna do. So we're gonna go ahead and add here at 26 and then take off that 25 print right there. And then we're gonna set up that same order that we had at 31s, or 31s? Yeah, 31s that hasn't been printed because it just can't seem to shake that seller. So that's what we're doing right now on that one. How we doing here on MSTZ? So it looks like it did pop off that 11 1/3 for the moment, sorry, 13 1/3 for the moment, and did not fill my 13 1/4. So we're waiting here at the 40 penny area. Let's see if we get the beak wet or what the situation is. Ideally, this comes down a little bit more and fills me, but we'll have to wait and see how this all goes down. Joseph.
Yeah, good look there, my friend. So let's see if we can continuously get this bounce here in IBIT. You can see that we have this resistance zone right here, guys, around 47.69, and we're just knocking on the door of that. We got to a high of 47.68, and then now heading back into this zone. So again, we got to look at this from a really small scale here, from a sense, right? And I got a risk about that. What is it, about 10 cents? I got a risk here on this trade. So I put on some shares. I'm like, I like this risk profile. Let's see how much size we can get going here. And if we're going to recover, I did the same thing on the Qs, but it just didn't get that bounce. So we'll be patient. NVDA is looking like it wants to start to slowly recover as well too. So that can be a positive sign if we are going to form any sort of rebound here, guys. But down 1.5%. I mean, that's not too bad, I guess, compared to some of the other names here. Let's take a look at exactly what Apple is down. 2.2% there. Google closer to 4 here, Sharif, 3.8% on Google. And we don't talk about this one often enough, it being the 3rd largest company on the planet. Yes, and that is Mr. Microsoft in itself, 2.4% to the downside. I don't even want to look at Amazon, but we'll pull it up for you guys just because we're going to bite that bullet on that one and face fear head on. 3.9%, closer to 4%. So levels that are close to Google. Tough look. Heading towards some lows on the daily that we really need to be weary about. We would look for a bounce. So if we take a look at this daily chart, we most definitely be looking for a bounce around these lows. And if we crack it to the downside, there's going to be some more pain, I believe. Let's see if we can find anything on the chain that tells us, hey, this is where Amazon's bottom might be. I typed in chain to the options chain. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so yeah, we're going to go out to next week, all right? Never mind this week. It's Friday already, Sharif, but we want to look at a bigger perspective and see what we got going on. So 185. in the works, possibly 185 in the works, with a peak around 205. So we'll look for a bounce onto that, but potential bottom around 185. Unfortunately, by that time, my friend, I will be stopped out of that options trade on AMZ.
Yes, sir. Okay, here's the deal. There's a new small cap gapper that's weaseled its way onto the scene, but much like most of these small cap gappers today, they are light on volume, guys. ALMS is the one I'm talking about. Illumis trading on the NASDAQ. It's about $310 million market cap. And as I mentioned, though, really light on volume. $5 or 5 3/4 is the actual price per share, but it's only printed about 578,000 shares on the day. That's not really, it's not going to cut it, man. ALMS, it's about 20 million share float, says Trade Ideas. I don't have the short float, sadly, on this one, so we'll have to fly blind in terms of the short float. But we're gonna put this on a trading screen over here because LTRY is absolute garbage. ALMS, so we'll throw that on there and we'll take off LTRY on the said side chart. Insert row, Joseph. And there we go. ALMS. There we go. So now we've got eyes on this one. This is breaking out though. ALMS is breaking out. It's at the high of the day. So let's load this up on a trading screen. We're going to take off QNTM. ALMS on the NQ, and here it is. It's a wider spread. So already I'm displeased because it's got a 6-penny spread on a $5 name. Kind of not surprised by that given the volume or lack thereof. About 620,000 shares now traded. A 4-penny spread. Let's talk about the technicals on this bad boy. Let's bring in the side chart over here. And then look at what we're looking at on the 5. It keeps printing new highs, a high a day. Every time I look at this thing, it's at the high of the day. So maybe the volume hopefully starts picking up a little bit so we can trade a little bit more confidently that we're getting good volume. So this one did spike up at 9:30, did a more prolonged bull flag here where it had a longer period of consolidation. And then for whatever reason, the volume came in fast and furious at 5 to noon there. And we got the second bull flag in my humble estimation here, where we're getting that continuation. So expect possibly an area of consolidation, maybe not as prolonged as the one that we got, but let's see if we get some sideways consolidation here that we can build in. So the technicals here are the 10 exponentials at 545, 550, VWAP far south of where we're trading right now, about 50 pennies south, that is, about 5 1/4 here on ALMS, with the high of the day being 579. The closing print yesterday, guys, a little bit lower than 4 3/4, so we're up nicely on the day, about 21% and change. Again, light on volume, so not much to say too about this one. We'll see if it can catch a bit of a bid. I've loaded it up on a trading screen, and I will like it at the $0.50. So let's go ahead and throw in an order at the $0.50. And you know how I roll. I front run the levels in case, you know, there's buyer exuberance at that level. So we're putting the order there on your screen at around 5.5. And that's not just because of the psychological level at the $0.50, but it also overlaps with the 10 exponential. Now, I may or may not get the ad, so this may go unfilled over here. So let's pack our patience and see what comes of this. MSTZ, we got a print. Okay, good, to the high side, but it's not a glowing endorsement right now because I still didn't get my ad nor my fill at the high of the day. So let's see how this one wants to trade. I'm also keeping an eye on LWLG. As you saw, I added there at 25s again. Now I'm waiting for the beak wetter at 28. It's already showing me 28 on the ask, but didn't cross, so we have to wait. Another one that I'm involved in on the ad, NFGC, popping back up into 33s, it probably behooves me to wet the beak here. So we're going to wait. Actually, I'm a little greedy. We'll wait at 34s and see what we get there. Maybe Adara brings us some good luck. What do you got, Adara?
Thank you, Sharif. I hope I bring you some good luck. What I can bring you definitely is comments from Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney. As you know, he and Donald Trump did speak. This is just the market here, the futures continuing on this downtrend. But Trump did post on Truth Social that he had an extremely productive, quote unquote, call with Mark Carney. And Mark Carney seconding that. He said their call was, quote, very constructive. And he also said he told Trump that the Canadian government is going to be implementing retaliatory tariffs. So Carney confirming to Trump the Canadian government will be retaliating here with some tariffs. He said, though, that he and Trump agreed to begin comprehensive negotiations about a new economic relationship between U.S. and Canada following the election. Again, unclear if Mark Carney will be elected again when we get that election. But either way, both Carney and Trump saying that these negotiations between the U.S. and Canada are going to really resume after that election, as Sharif mentioned earlier, April 28th. So we have about a month until we get more updates on these conversations. Back to you.
Corey's like, who's Mark Carney? Mark Carney is the current Prime Minister of Canada. Justin Trudeau is out. He resigned. He's gonzino. He's shopping at the moment. He posted a picture, I think, the other day. Did you see him shopping?
Yeah.
He was at the dollar store or something.
Was it
like
Canadian
that.
Tire?
Canadian Tire, that's it. Wow. A little on the nose there, eh? Canadian Tire.
Yeah, I know. What is
so
guy,
funny,
man.
I like Canadian Tire though. I can
Canadian
stay in Canadian Tire for quite a bit, man.
They got everything you need.
They got everything, bro.
Everything you need.
The prices are.
It's a little tough, but I mean, you can go in there and spend those hard-earned Canadian dollars.
So that's what we're talking about. Where did this Carney even come from? Corey, are you not listening? It's not Justin Trudeau anymore, Corey. It's Mark Carney. And no, he's not the leader of the Carney. Okay? All right? Okay, so you're just asking there.
All right.
Everyone in Winnipeg works at Canadian Tire. It is such a big thing for some reason. So is 7-Eleven, Adara. It seems to be a running theme over there.
No, I have a lot of friends who their first job was Canadian Tire. And I knew one guy, too, who was like, he was supposed to be in the back. And then one time they brought him in the front and they were like, oh, the people at Canadian Tire don't think you're dressed well enough. So that's my Canadian Tire story. I have,
what do they want him in a suit?
No, you just have to wear, I guess, the top. But he was like lifting things, and they said, "Oh, you have to go back to the back." And I was like, I mean, if you work in the garden section, what do you expect? That's my quick Canadian Tire rant. I
think the viewers of the show would know way too much about Canada than they want to know, but we love you guys. Thank you for humoring us and moving along.
What was your first job ever?
Gap. No, that's incorrect. The post office at my old man's. Before we got into the pharmacy business, my old man was with Shoppers Drug Mart.
Okay.
And his Shoppers, he was an associate, had a post office.
And you
14 years old, bro.
Yeah, same, right?
14 years old,
Queen.
post
I was
office.
14, man. Get right to work.
Child labor, bro.
I was working way before 14 too, man.
Unofficially, yes.
I
like
was
under the table, bro.
Yeah. Not even. I had to rake apples in the backyard, mow the lawn, do all that type of stuff.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you shovel driveways to make extra money?
No, I had to shovel a driveway though.
Well, yeah, so did I.
But no, I never got that far.
Me and my buddies, when we were always light on money, especially in like late middle school, early high school, as soon as that snowstorm hits, we take the shovels, we go door to door.
You know what? I was like probably 10, in the range from 10 to 12, but I used to hold the Little Caesar sign.
What?
Yeah, you know that one. I was probably about 10 or 12.
Sick.
At the time, my grandpa would send me out for 3 hours, and they'd give you $20, right?
That's sick, dude.
Right?
Why
Get a
not?
pizza
Why not?
and stuff.
$20 at that age is cash.
You know what I mean? And then at the end of the day, they would give you one of the $5 mediums and some crazy bread. So yeah,
that's good times, bro. You're bringing up way too many memories right here.
Then, so yeah. Anyways, guys, let's get back to these markets and see what we got cooking up here.
Sir.
In IBIT, we're holding up fairly strong. We're not getting that pop, and we're running into those resistance zones that I was referring to earlier. We can't crack through, so if we happen to get another test, I might take some more off the top and just leave a little bit of a runner. You can see that we're getting these pops, but the volume just isn't supporting it. So hopefully this one doesn't get faded and we can break right through, but you can see just immediately rejected. So yeah, this might be the attempt, a nice, strong, steady, higher low. That's a positive sign, but you can see just running into the base of this previous support level, and then now it's just acting as current resistance, and we just keep rejecting. So I think we would need the overall market to get a bounce in order for us to crack through that. And you, boom, again, just another lower high. Just, I should have got out there at 7s there, at 47.7s there, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
Because it's just not breaking through right now, man. It doesn't want to, there's not enough participants in order to break through some of these resistance levels. And then you can see it just continuously getting flushed. All those orders getting hit on the bid and below the bid. So yeah, it would be a good sign to hop out now. I do believe that we might curl over unless we break through on this attempt. It keeps giving me flickers of hope here, but yeah, we'll be patient, hold on, and see what we can cook up here in IBIT's bottom, Sharif.
All right, we're getting long here on TZA. Trying to punch in. There we go. The stop goes below that 1670 area, so we're going to throw up that stop right there. And we're going to give it a bit of room because we know that the spread has got us in trouble on occasion, and we're going to layer the orders as we typically do for a pop-up and beak wetters. Okay, so NFGC, I think I just got the ad finally on that. Where is it? Show yourself, NFGC, there we go. So now it's dropping into the 20 exponential. This is where it found respect before. So the stop here, okay, so I've got the volume weighted average price at $1.26. With price action, resistance at $1.24, $1.25. That's this pop over here. So we know price action, resistance, now possibly support is at that $1.25. We know that VWAP is at $1.26. So if I don't give it to those levels, I'm doing myself a disservice in my estimation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to layer my order at the volume weighted average price because I don't have much left on this, and we're going to throw it at $1.27. So let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, I'm going to actually give it a $1.26. Adara, what's going on?
Wolf. We talked about Wolf earlier. We did not know why Wolf speed was down to the extent that it was down. We had a new CEO announced yesterday, intraday, but did not seem to be the catalyst. I have the catalyst. I am proud to announce we finally have the catalyst for Wolf speed. I just saw this posted on X by Wall Street Engine, which is a pretty well-known news resource here on X. So basically, apparently, Wolf speed, earlier today, they announced they were unable to reach a debt swap deal. So because they were unable to reach that debt swap deal, we had this push to the downside. Now they apparently released a press release confirming they did receive apparently $192 million in IRS tax refunds with expectations for up to $1 billion total. They additionally, in this release, reaffirmed their Q3 guidance. They said they're going to end their quarter with roughly $1.3 billion in cash, and they're still in talks with Apollo, Renaissance, and U.S. officials with regards to funding and chip manufacturing efforts. If you missed it, Wolf is actually another company that was set to be receiving some funds from the CHIPS Act. We know that current President Donald Trump is not a proponent of said act. So long story short, WOLF pushing out a press release after this drop that was driven by an inability to reach their debt swap deal. Back to you.
That's interesting stuff there, bro.
Yeah, Adam messaged me. Yeah, I read over it quickly. I'll go over it again. I think I refer what you were talking to. I know you left a message on exactly what it is. But yeah, I'll go over what you had. I'm pretty sure it's just like some trade plans that you had going on. So I'll dig into that. I always like that stuff. Havana Woody sends me his grok stuff as well too, which is very interesting. So yeah, I'll go over it one more time to see what we got going on. But yeah, we're in some IBIT here still, guys, waiting for this to get this bounce. Talking to my buddy Greg too, he's just like, I'm like, man, I don't know if it's coming today. We had a pretty weak session the other day as well too, and it's just you don't get those buyers stepping in, especially when you're expecting it to. So on the 26th is when we just continuously bled throughout the whole day, and we got no form of real rebound, guys. So you can see just that downward slope of the volume weighted average price. It is starting to smooth out here, but then when you have this really moving to the downside, it's hard for buyers to really step in and continue this move to the top side. So that's the look there on the TQs, really extended, but we're just not getting those pullbacks in, and I'll be surprised if we do. I mean, I'll be more than happy if it does, but just from the overall sentiment of the session here, it's looking really weak. We can't even get a bounce in Amazon either, Sharif, down to 193, opening up at 200 today. So another 3.7% haircut there on AMZN, Sharif.
BHAT is absolutely rocketing up to the upside, 50%. Shout out to Butta Biscuit Head who told me about this one. What an excellent call out there. We'll get to that one in a second because I just got my dip trade on ALMS. Where'd I get in? I got right at 50, and it's already showing me 66s. Bang! I love technical analysis. Let's see if we can get some more to the high side here. I'm going to wait. Now, hold on. Before we start doing anything stupid, let's see exactly how many shares we have left. Good, good, good. All right, so let's go ahead and set up now these levels, and we'll layer the orders on this monster to see if we can get a pop back up here on ALMS. And then I'm going to give my stop essentially right into my entry because literally we have the low of the wick there. So let's go ahead and just set that up. ALMS, I just want to make sure I don't have a stop on that already. So there's two triggering stop. No, so we're going to go ahead, 549, and then we'll take out everything there. There we go. So good. So we'll leave that one there. Adara, what bill are we paying now?
We're going to hear, Sharif, to thank our friends at Foremost. Unlock the nuclear renaissance with Foremost Clean Energy. leveraging one of the biggest megatrends on the planet, nuclear energy. They're partnered with Denison Mines with properties strategically located in the Athabasca Basin, known as the Saudi Arabia of uranium. This undervalued company is poised to capitalize on the exploding nuclear market, and they offer unparalleled growth potential. The future is nuclear, and foremost is your entry. On the NASDAQ under FMST, and on the CSE under FAT. Or you can go to foremostcleanenergy.com for details. Back to the Bash Brothers.
What's up? All right, safe. Sharif, Trump on April 2nd, haha, got you no tariff April Fools.
Ooh.
That'd be nice. I wouldn't say no to that.
Yeah, of course.
You know, April Fools, it's not even April Fools though, it's the second day. So, yeah. That's why he did it on April. Did he actually say that, Adara? He said that, Katina? Yeah, well, okay, that makes sense. Absolutely. He said it multiple times according to Adara, so I believe that. So that's the situation there. So, yeah, well, that's a look. All right, Joseph, we're killing it on ALMS. Go ALMS, baby. Right into that 10 exponential, literally bottom wick. Now we're going to set up at 90s. No, Joseph, we're going to set up at 95s because we only got one more beak wetter. So either I get a close high daybreak or we get stopped out. Simple as that. ALMS moving here, finally doing good things. It's up 23%. It's about, you know, only 860,000 shares traded on the day with a crappy spread. Full disclosure, okay? It's not the best looking name out there, certainly. But we're doing well on it, so we're going to continue to keep an eye out on that. I've got like 1, 2, 3, 4. Are you serious? I have 5 trades on at the moment, so it's going to be hard to manage. Yeah, I know. I don't like that. I don't like that.
I love when you count, you're like 1, 2, 3. And you're like,
yeah,
oh,
it's like,
as you got higher
like, I don't want
like,
that.
Oh, wow.
No, it's hard to manage, Joseph.
Like,
even though you throw stops and stuff like that, it's just like, which one am I looking at? Which one am I looking
It
at?
sounded like you wanted to stop at 3 or 4, and then you're like 5, 6. Oh,
yeah, it was a no good.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's continuing to come down. BHAT is all the hype right now, though, guys. It is the best looking name in small cap gapper world. It's a 50% clearance. It's a midday mover. The volume started coming in afternoon, like after 12 o'clock. I would submit to you, the volume really started coming in around 12:30, and it really hasn't stopped since that time. Higher highs on the volume bars. Keep your eye out on this one. But LWLG continuing to hang out at VWAP. And I feel like I've seen this story before, right? Where we kind of get that rounded top or, you know, that range with VWAP with the lower highs. That's a concern to me because it usually flat bottom breaks. I've got the stop in place. I don't want to paper hand it. But, you know, I am trying to be a little bit risk averse today on a day where the market's really taking a hit. So we'll keep tabs on that. Shout out to my man ADL, baby. Prem is back. The Prem is back. I hate international. All the players get injured or, you know, the team falls into a funk. So very happy for what's it called? The Prem to be back. Adara. Ramin actually called it before Trump said it. I was like, why April 2nd? And she said, probably because April Fools, and that was correct. Good look there, Pretty Panda. Bro, it's not just that it's 5 trades open. Look at the names, bruh. Thrift shop trading at its finest. Love you. I'm a thrifty guy. What can I say, man? I shop at Dollarama, and that's the way it works around here. So that is the situation. Adara, what's up?
We have some news here in the crypto space, Sharif. Unsure if it's really going to be market moving, but I think it's certainly worth noting. So we do have a statement here coming from the FDIC, that is the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. They've issued some new guidance clarifying the process by which banks can engage in crypto-related activities. So apparently, banks that are supervised by the FDIC are able to engage in, quote, permissible crypto activities without needing prior approval. So basically, the FDIC is allowing these banks that it supervises to have a little bit more freedom when it comes to its crypto transactions. If you're asking which banks are supervised by the FDIC, apparently it's all state-chartered banks that are not members of the Federal Reserve System. So if you have a Fed speaker that's not a governor, usually they'll be president of a Federal Reserve Bank. Federal Reserve banks are not supervised by FDIC, but other state-chartered banks are. So that is my quick rundown there on this FDIC-related crypto announcement, giving some, I guess, a little bit of deregulation in the crypto space. Back to you.
Yeah, I'm just gonna cover something here real quick, Sharif.
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Yeah,
do your thing.
Okay, so what we got going on from Marcus James Reed himself says, what do you think of those Amazon April 4th 190 puts for 250? If you're buying those puts, that means you would get assigned short shares if you're looking for those to close in the money and hold on to the contracts. But I think you refer to as, if you're being long, you wanted to sell the puts at 190. April 4th, and then hopefully get assigned on those. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what you're getting at. I mean, dude, that'd probably be a good level to get assigned at if that's what you're looking for, but that means it would have to be south of that level. You wouldn't get them assigned if they were out of the money. So, yeah, okay, let's see. Come on, Sharif.
What, man? What'd I do now?
Nothing. I bet. Let's see if we can get this rolling, man. It doesn't want to pop.
It's a tough day,
yeah,
bro.
it is. Absolutely, man. So let's see if we can get this ball rolling here and crack through 47.70.
I just want to know when we're gonna get that Coreweave, baby.
That Coreweave, yeah, it's still not out yet. Hey, maybe 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. We'll get to see that there, guys. But a nice little recovery here. You can see the volume slowly starting to pick up, but it's not being sustained. So yeah, we'll be patient. 47.70, if it breaks through, I think the next level could be around 47.85, which would be a really nice trade. So still holding on to this position, constructing that lower, that higher low. That's a good sign. But excuse me, you can see just the weakness. You can see the weakness within the tape there. So anyway, the boom. So everybody was loving the boom yesterday, Sharif. Everybody was loving the boom, and I was honest. I'm like, hey, one time Greg boomed me, and I'm like, bro, I don't boom anymore because back in the day, this guy that I used to play poker in at my when I worked for Bell, every time he knocked somebody out, he'd be boom.
Hold on. Okay.
Not like literally knock him out. Like he would like eliminated another player. He would go like boom and smack the tables, and everybody that we played with hated playing with him because he would boom right in your face, and we're just like, come on, man. You know what I mean?
Some guys, they don't give. They don't care, bro.
Man. Yeah. Those were good days. 6 TOV, do you still have your Amazon calls? That I do, my friend, and they are not looking good. I actually have some short calls against it. They're the 230s, I believe. I bought the 200s out of the money, and we're now trading at 193, and I have a stop loss in place, so I wouldn't be surprised if I'm stopped out at this point. Once the contract value goes to a certain amount, then I'll just get stopped out. I haven't looked at the portfolio today. It went up to 206. The day it was at 206. I'm like, I feel like we're going to pull back relatively healthy, and I just decide to hold on to the position, and sure enough, giving up quite a bit of cash there in unrealized. So it feels really, really good. All you can do is put on all you can do is put a smile on, and exactly, no boom in there, says NYC. I'm obviously only joking. But yeah, it is what it is, guys. It does look like the market wants to continue to bleed a bit here, Sharif.
Yes, sir. All right, just throwing in. I got into a 6th position here. Okay. Everything good? Okay. We got into a 6th position over here, guys, on BHAT. I was able to scalp aggressively into this one. Let me tell you, though, any print below 70, I'm done on this one. The current candle is a lower high, so I am concerned, and it's red on the 5. We're talking about the 5-minute, always charting on the 5. Here it comes, right into my entry. That's the end of the trade there. We'll stop out for a 5-penny loss on that last little amount, but positive on it. ALMS as well. We're on to this one. It's coming back down into the 10 exponential, but it's still far from my entry. I still have one more exit on ALMS. I'm looking for that $6 break and take. It doesn't look like it's coming at the moment, so we're gonna pack our patience. We only got one beak wetter left on this one. I think I traded, what's this one called? BHAT incorrectly. I traded incorrectly. It's gonna move back up here. It does look like it's doing that. It's defending VWAP, and I was fixated on the lower high and the higher low, and I didn't focus enough on the defend of VWAP, so I think I did this one a little bit incorrectly, but we're still positive on it, so we'll look to do a little bit better next time. This one I'm talking about, where is MSTZ? That's the one I want to pull up right now. There it is. Now we're doing well here on MSTZ. So I did get the ad at 32s again, and now it's at 48s. I'm waiting at 55s. It's having trouble with 50. Not surprising, though. We know that 50 penny level is an area of technical resistance, but MSTZ is basically shadowing MSTR, right? So let's see exactly what we got over here. Yeah, we're going to wait here on MSTZ. I don't mind waiting a little bit. Here we go, 54s. Give me my print, baby. We're going to take the print right there. Boom. Come on. There it is. There it is. It was so anticlimactic. You have to wind down some of these trades. So MSTZ, good look there. We're positive on it. I'm still interested in getting more in. I had two dip trades on this one. Only one filled. This one here at 26s didn't fill. So sucks to be me. We'll look to do it a little bit better. TZA, we're also involved in TZA. Bang to the high side over here. And now we're waiting at 88s on TZA. How many more shares do I have? I still have some shares, so we're going to put some more at 88s and see if we can wet the beak in and around that level. But I see NFGC is coming back down, which is okay because I've got that dip trade right there to defend that volume-weighted average price, as well as the area that I perceive to be a previous area of technical resistance. I'm talking about that $1.24, $1.25. I've decided to front run it by putting my order at a $1.26. I don't have many shares left right now on NFGC, so I don't mind getting in a little bit more here. So MSTZ, I just want to talk about this one for a second because I know I traded it incorrectly. And no, not MSTZ, sorry. BHAT is the one that I traded incorrectly. I definitely shouldn't have been getting out right there. I definitely needed to give it a bit more room. And you don't get out on the same price as the low of the prior candle. You have to give it some room. I didn't do that, and that was a mistake. So I'll look to do a little bit more better. Roland Joe, the most Canadian ticker ever, TZA. Yeah, look, bro, we say Z, okay? I mean, I was brought up from first grade. We don't even say first grade. We say grade 1, okay? Just want to put that out there. That's how we were told how to say it, bro. And then, you know, we watch American television. Obviously, we know you guys say it a little bit differently. So sometimes you'll hear a Canadian say Z, but most of the time it's going to be Z. Do you say Z?
I think so. I don't even. I mean,
Do you say Z? Do you say Z? No, I'm not talking about his name, because that's a name. When you say the letter, like if you were to spell something out, Katina man, you say Z or Z?
I'm just trying to think about like if I went, so what is Toronto?
Okay. Katina man's got.
So here, no, because I think you got to go real example. So what is Toronto's airport code?
YYZ.
You were gonna say Z. I got you. So that's my point. Is I think
YYZ. No,
YYZ.
It's I say YYZ.
This is why I'm here.
Yeah. That's fair.
Right,
Over.
It's
over. The
done.
discussion's done. I love it.
Yeah, that's funny.
I don't know, guys. We're having a good time. We are Canadian. Adara, tell us more.
Sharif, I don't know if you've been watching RAY, but this one, very volatile. We just got a little bit more volume here in Raytech Holdings, RAY. You've got about a 3.2 million share float. About 7% of that is going to be sold short. Relative volume about 8. So keep an eye here in RAY, though, as mentioned here, we just got to pop into $2.30, now trading near $2.10. So very volatile for this one. Back to the guys.
Wow.
Shout out to my man, Live Music Fan 65. He's old enough, or she's old enough, to remember the 280Z from Datsun. Anybody who's old like me, I'm ancient, knows that Datsun used to be Nissan before they merged. That's way before Infinity, by the way. My parents had a Datsun. That's the only reason I know anything about the Datsun. But for all the specialty car lovers out there, the 280Z is the precursor to the 350Z. It's called the Nissan 350Z, right? Yeah, the 350. So that's what they're basing it off, by the way. And so I nobody asked for a history lesson, but I felt inclined to give one at the moment.
Zed's dead, man.
Zed is dead. Oh, it's over.
Bruce Willis. What movie is that of Bruce Willis again? When he says Zed's dead?
I don't know.
Oh, I know Neil and Sean would probably know where it comes from.
Bruce Willis. Ask chat, bro, or ask your friend co-pilot.
Yeah, what is that? Yeah. Oh, shots fired.
From Pulp Fiction, Neil? Where
the part where But the chat's gonna say, is it Pulp Fiction?
It is. Everybody's saying Pulp
All right,
Fiction. Yeah.
So there you go. So Pulp Fiction. There you go.
Zebra. Calm down, Darwin. It's not zebra.
Zebra.
But I think some South Africans say zebra, don't they not? Yeah, they don't say. Not everybody says zebra.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm pretty sure I've heard South Africans say zebra.
There you go.
Or Australians, possibly.
Maybe probably.
I don't know, bro, man.
So we don't know. Man.
Darwin,
We
killing me, bro.
just live in our own little, I guess, world here. But Sharif,
Go
this
ahead,
is
go
what
ahead.
I wanted to do.
Yes, sir.
Even though it's, I guess, it's the narrative, but look at Microsoft go, Sharif, to the downside, just absolutely dragging the market with it here. No stop in sight here, continuing to move. What is Microsoft down on the session here, folks? And it doesn't look like it wants to turn around. 3%, a whopping 3% move to the downside. So you have the likes of Google down more than 3%, Amazon down more than 3%, and now Microsoft now down more than 3% here, guys. So don't fight it. I've tried a couple attempts on the T keys for those bottoms. We're not getting those pops that we're looking for, so we have to be patient. Congratulations to Katina Man on that monstrous short, because that is an all-day short.
yeah.
This guy's been all-day faders all day. I mean, like it's just, it hasn't stopped. You get any pullback here, it just constructs a new low. So the buyers are not stepping in. You want to stick with that primary downtrend. It does look like Apple wants to turn around, but I wouldn't try it, especially with the likes of Microsoft continuing to bleed here.
Sorry, bro. Just give me
No
another
problem.
second.
Yeah, I know, Adrian. I know that Zed. I'm assuming that's where Zed's dad got it from, because that's what kind of I think bands do. But yeah, that's what I was referring. That's how I knew about it. I'm like, oh, Zed's dead. When I heard Bruce Willis say that, then I'm like, yeah, that's interesting. So that's where I got it from. But yeah, aware that it is a electronic EDM type band. We used to listen to that way back in the day.
Hey.
Yeah, that's a lot of EDM stuff there going on. Earlier in the days when it first came out, and you get a lot of the house music. I was listening to some house music yesterday on the way home and at the gym last night too. So yeah, I'm a big music guy, but geez, this is not looking too pretty here. 59s. How much risk am I willing to give this trade here? As it doesn't look like it wants to curl over, and we're gonna break through this hammer candle, which essentially I constructed my thesis on. But you can see here, thank you for that, Ramin. But you can see just constructing lower highs, and we're not breaking through it. So that downtrend seems to be fully intact. Zeke, what's up, my friend? My dog's name used to be Zeke. I'm not trying to obviously say anything, but that was my guy and loved him very much. Sharif.
Yes, sir.
You know what time it is?
What?
Playmaker poll.
All right, I'm ready to go.
All right, you ready to go?
Yes,
you got all
sir.
your orders in. I don't want to take you away just in case you have a lot
you're
going
good.
on there.
Yep.
Okay, let's fire this up here quick. We are up to date here, folks. Not looking too bad on the Playmaker poll. So let's see. We're going to get some more data points fully in. I think this looks like a piece of work of art, to be honest with you. That's just me. Anyway.
You love the data collection. I respect that, man.
That's just me. You know what I mean? I'm going to leave it at that. All right, Sharif, we are going short today, I believe.
Oh, fine. I voted short today, too.
60%, so did I, my friend.
Yeah.
Okay, talk to me.
555.95.
555.
Yeah.
95. All right.
Yep.
A cryptic there.
We're 56 now, but when I
right.
looked at it, it was 5.
All right.
So we're taking everything out. Profit 557.95.
We're going short though.
No, sorry.
553.
What am I saying? 553.95.
All right there. All right. And our stop loss is
And then it's going to be
556.95.
556.95.
There we go. And we are going short today.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Kyle Burnett.
Oh, big Spow. Where's he at,
He's not
man?
out. He's not here right now, man. All right. All right, so there we go. Today is the 28th of March. Wow, this month just absolutely flown by here, guys. So there it is, Playmaker poll. There's the equity curve. We're on our 70th data point here, Sharif. 70th.
Sir.
That is quite a nice collection of data there, my friend.
All right, we're doing well here. We took out MSTZ there at the high. It's continuing to go up. I feel silly for not having more, but we've got TZA as well at the high. Now I'm waiting at 95s. I've got TZA 79s right now. It's showing me 93s. I'm waiting at 95s. Let's see how far this one wants to go. ALMS, I got stopped out for the last beak wetter. Break even on that last little bit there, so not a bad look. This one, though, continues to be a bit of a bamboozler. NFGC. So now it's at VWAP. We still haven't gotten the ad. As you can see, we're still waiting there at 26s for the ad. But this one is coming down quite aggressively. It is a big red setup, essentially red candles for the last hour here. We'll have to see if we can find some buyers. And then BHAT, I'm also involved in here with an average price of 89s. We're 10 pennies out of the money on this one. This one did break in the high of the day. It went all the way to 314, got in at 303, got some out at 310. Stopped out at 290, then I added right there at 89. So we're going to wait to see if this loses VWAP or not. I've put my stop below the prior candle low, but this one does look like it will lose the volume weighted average price. So we'll take an L on this one if it continues to go down over here. A bit of a tough one. Oh, pops right back up. Let's see if it has any continuation here. My first beak wetter on the dip trade here is going to be in the mid 90s on BHAT. It's still holding VWAP. At the moment, we'll see how long for. It's up 46%, so not a bad look for that one. TZA, did we get the print on that one? Where's TZA at? No, we're still printless here, waiting for that 95 print to come in. So that's all I've got at the moment. We've got 4 trades on currently right now. TZA looking like the best of the bunch, waiting for that print there. Feeling awfully silly for having taken out that MSTZ trade. Oh, we just lost the bid there on BHAT, so we're out of that one. We take an L there on BHAT. Kind of upset about that one. Definitely should have executed a bit better, but VWAP was my line in the sand, and I executed it the way I saw best, but that wasn't good enough on this occasion. Back to TZA, the one that we're doing well on. Still waiting at 95s. Here comes 95s. We just almost got into 95s there, but the profit takers or the short sellers reinstituting their positions. Now we are at 95s. Let's see if we can cross all sorts of size here on TZA on the MX network, by the way, at that 95 penny area. So we'll continue to watch if we can get anything there. This one, MSTZ, I won't even want to look at you anymore. It's making me disappointed for how I executed. LWLG, profitable still on it, but it's doing nothing. Like, I feel like I need to get out of Dodge here. We're in the money on it, but there's like no volume anymore. So that's a recipe for a flat bottom break and a big short seller to come take out all the levels and then pop it right back up. So this concerns me a little bit. I did move down my beak wetter from 30 into 28 to take some profits and get the hell out of there. We'll see if that ends up working out or not. I want to keep my eye, though, on NFGC because it is finding a 3 5-minute candle base. Surprise, surprise, at the volume weighted average price, and we have nothing down here because we didn't get the print at 26. I mean, I did but the best I could, front running the price action support at 24, front running the volume weighted average price at 25, yet I still didn't get printed. So it's the case there. So we're gonna have to take a less advantageous print, and that's just the way it is. So where are we long there? And GFC 30, so then we got to set up some beak wetters on this one. We'll wait at 32s for the first. Oops, that's not the one I want there. Show yourself. There we go. We'll wait at 32s on this one. Not 232, bro. We want 132. Thank you. There we go. So we'll wait somewhere in and around there. So that's all I've got at the moment, Joseph. We'll see if we can get a run up here on the 3 that we've got left or what the situation is. Coreweave. I'm voting Coreweave. Okay. Yeah, I'm voting that one. Amazon is the number 1 right now, Joseph, so we'll keep an eye on that. 1320 Wolf, Datsun 240Z is the OG. Let's stop talking about this, man. Let's pull it up. This is like a very 80s car, though, guys. Datsun. Oh, I got to go to Google because I installed this ChatGPT add-on. So anytime I search in the toolbar now, it's searching chat. So that's not what I want. Datsun, there it is, right away. Now, this is as 80s as it gets, man. I mean, like, where's that burgundy color my parents had? But here it is. Now, they didn't have this car. They had a different Datsun, but you could tell, like, this was, like, Datsun's go-to color in the 80s. This is a nice car, bro. I mean, I don't know. Like, what did it have? Like, 120 horsepower back in the day? That was a lot. Like, look at the interior on this bad boy. Yeah, this is as 80s as it gets, my guy. Yeah, this is as 80s. But this, look, I think that this cabin for the 80s was quite advanced.
Looks pretty.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to see a little bit there, but for the 80s, it was not too bad there. So, yeah, shout out to anybody who drove the Datsun 240Z. Obviously, if you're a noob, then this is the new one, or not the new one, Nissan 350Z. This is the one my buddy has. This one was like the mid 2000s car. Like he was rolling around in this all like in university. What's the new one? The 300 or 370? 370. Yeah. That's the new one. Yeah, this is the new one right here. I'm not a fan of this one. I gotta tell you the truth, though. It's not really my cup of tea. So, yeah, well, whatever. I don't know, man. I used to be all up in like the coupe game, but I've just fallen out of love with coupe.
Yeah, you're out of the coupe.
Completely fallen out of love with coupe.
On the
convertible or nothing, baby.
Convertible or nothing? Yeah. I like hard. I would prefer hard top over.
Yeah? No, I'm all about convertible. Yeah. Hard top convertible.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, over soft top.
But can I tell you though?
Yeah.
The newer soft tops are super insulated, so they don't have as much like loud vibrations and stuff like that as some of the older ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very, very interesting.
Yeah, needless story there, but everything's fine.
Just in case. I mean, you always need a couple of those a day just to put in the old knowledge nugget there. So there we go. Stevenson, ATN, my guy, target price hit on $7 club on profit.
Oh, Coreweave is open.
Coreweave is open. It is open. Pull it up there, Sharif. We'll go over that, everything. Very short.
CRWV on the NASDAQ, right? Yeah. Here it is, guys. We are trading live. We're doing it live. There we go. So we're below $40, Joseph. I don't know what the opening print was. The opening print was $39.10, Katina man. So it opened up below the IPO price. That's not exactly a glowing endorsement, but it's not the end of the world. So we're going to watch how this trades. The Katina man, the Neil, they're locked, they're loaded. They're looking at this one right now. So Katina man is long, Coreweave right now. Keep your eye on this one. We are live on Coreweave down. Technically, Joseph, 1.25% with the current high, 39.66. The current low, 39.03. So we are locked within a less dollar range. Someone's printing over there, so we're going to shout at the Katina man. There's a big seller here, though, at 69s and 70s. Well, it's an iceberg order, you can tell. There's really no size posted. Can we take them out? Take them out. All right, so we'll keep an eye on this one. Coreweave is live, guys. IPO, and they sell or they rent, NVIDIA GPUs, their servers. For those who don't want to buy them, that's what they're doing. NVIDIA does work with this company. Oh, there goes the low, guys. A new low a day, 38.80. Big size short, says the Katina man. He's looking at the gateway there. There's big size at 38.80 though. Huge buyer at 38.80. There's over 8,000 lots there, as I can see, at the 80 penny level. 38.80 8,000 lots minimum. That's what we can see. We don't even know what is sitting there as an iceberg order that we cannot see. 38.80 the low. There's a huge buyer there, Joseph.
Hey, yeah, thank you for that, Sharif. Okay, yeah, we got some ad reads coming up here very momentarily, but we got all out of this IBIT trade. Should have got out when I mentioned just the rejection of that support level, now acting as resistance at 70s. Instead, we take a loss on IBIT. Okay, we're going. What are we gonna do? We're gonna do the work sport or? All right, let's go to it there. We'll do that after.
Just be aware here, not to interrupt the Coreweave mania, but we do have here the market on watch. Donald Trump answering some questions here at the swearing in of Alina Habba as the, current attorney of the state of New Jersey. Anyway, so he was asked here at this event, you initially said that you're going to be adding these intense tariffs if Canada retaliates on tariffs. What are you going to do now? Trump initially said absolutely he'll be adding these tariffs, but that his call with Carney went well. So some mixed signals. Right when we're at low of day, he said absolutely he'll be increasing these tariffs in response to the retaliatory tariffs in Canada. But he seems to think right now that he had a good talk with Canada. So let's keep an eye on what happens here on the market. Donald Trump, a little bit mixed here on his tariff message. Back to you.
All right, we're live, Coreweave, guys. We've got, what do we got there, Joseph? What does it say on the screen? I don't want to look away.
38.93.
38.93. We wet the beak there at 39.05. We're waiting at 39.33. Let's see if this one can pop. The spread is prohibitive on this one. We've got the low right there, but it's zigging and zagging. Feels like the sell, the offer is a bit heavier here, Joseph, than the bid, but we are still in the very early stages. I'm waiting at the lofty price of 33s. Can we get it? Boom! To the high side. All right, baby.
The sky boomed, man.
Katina, man, I've never traded an IPO live. Let me have this.
Boom,
All right, so now we're waiting a little bit higher. We still got shares on, baby. Let's see if we can pop up a little bit more. Now I'm waiting at 39.62. Let's see if this one can zig. It can zag. We want that high daybreak eventually, though, Joseph. But there's a big seller here at 35s, 40s, getting taken out. Let's see if we can get 50s. We're waiting at 60s. Go 60s. Let's go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Boop. Ah. Yeah, seller coming in at 50s. Joseph, what do you got?
Yeah, that is jokes. Neil, the fact this can't break 40, yeah, I mean, hey, it is what it is. I get, it's like, I don't know, man. This
Seller at 50. Seller at 50. Definite seller at 50. 39.50. Big. The Katina man selling some here at 40. There's a big seller at 50. That was obvious right there. 39.50. Big seller. Watch out. This is coming down quite aggressively right now. Let's see if it loses 39. What do I have? 38.93. Anything below 39s, I'm gonzino. I'm not going to let this one trade go against me here, Joseph. What do you got on your side, my man?
Yeah, frustrating. Here, Sharif, you could see I get out right at the bottom, and then now it's trading in the money. I don't want to chase this name.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's slightly frustrating. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, NVDA working half decently. Off those bottoms, just range bound as the market looks like it wants to take a little bit of a bounce here. Robinhood recovering, Microsoft as well too, NVDA just around these highs, running into some resistance zones there, guys. But IBIT, unfortunate. It's just like, I don't know how, I can't hold on to it much longer as it continues to bleed, and then now it just comes back up slightly in the money. So let's see if it recovers. Not going to take any more swings on that one. 40 minutes left. We'll just chill. I can't believe how weak Microsoft is, though. Like, it hasn't even looked back. So you can see you get this micro pullback and just continues to move to the downside. So it's essentially down 3%, over 3%, 3.25 there. So tough look in the market. There you go. Yeah, Katina Man's crushing it there. Did it just pop up on, yeah, we'll pull it up to see 40s. There you go. I don't know if Sharif's still in it. He's posted up there. There you go, and it's gone, yeah. So I'll pull it up here for you guys real quick to see what these guys got going on. Let's see what, sorry, I apologize for the delay. CRWV, and there you go. Up a 0.5%, it touched 39.82 there. So good look. It's funny just watching these IPOs because this is the only data you can go off of. But the nice pop-up on above the volume weighted average price. There's some missing data. I don't think it gapped up like that. I know Sharif's trading there. Mine's just missing. It fixed it now on P-Pro. But yeah, let's see what Adair's up to, guys.
This part of the show is brought to you by ProfitX. In sports playing, flexibility is everything. At ProfitX, you can see the order book just like a financial exchange. Just pick your spot and customize the odds to fit your risk. Why settle for a single offered price when you can set your own? Plus, our mobile interface makes it easy to play on the go. ProfitX, where you call the shots anytime, anywhere. Users can use code TraderTV to get our sign-up offer of 2% cash back up to $300. Back to you.
Yeah, thank you for that, Adira. So yeah, nice look here on CRWV, holding above the volume weighted average price, 39.40, printing right now. So good look off of those bottoms. Some nice defense in this name. There's no way. Wow, dude. Wow. Okay, that's so yeah, nice. There we go. So held, and then it just wicks me a liquidity grab, and then continues to climb higher and higher there in IPO.
Can you get much higher? So high. Sorry.
No, I'm good. I'm not just playing the price action here, folks. Microsoft continuing to bleed. Look at the 118 volume print on RKLB. Yeah, we'll pull up RKLB. See what's going on. It's not isolated. Yeah, on Rocket Lab, we were talking about that with that. They got that deal with the American Space Force. Very, very interesting. Yeah, but the thing is, I see what you're looking at. It's just that it's not isolated or anything like that, so I don't know how I would necessarily play it, but it does have a double bottom and some possible stopping volume, so that's very, very intriguing. I like that you pointed that out. holding that base relatively well here. So really, really good look on that front. Mr. Green, or no, was it Marcus James Reed himself? Yeah, so it is what it is, Joe. Joe is like Garth when Wayne is gone. Is Garth just chilled out, I guess, and Wayne's more of the wild one? Yeah, just chill out, man.
Wayne's World?
Yeah, Wayne's World. Wayne's World.
So good. Mike Myers is an OG,
classic,
bro.
Man.
Mike Myers is next level.
He's the best. Austin Powers is probably one of the best movies. Well, I wouldn't go that far.
Goldmember.
Goldmember.
He plays
The Spy.
dude, he plays all the characters.
Yeah,
That's an insane thing
right?
about
Like
it.
Dr.
Fat bastard.
Evil. Yeah.
Fat bastard's my favorite.
You like him?
I got a tail head poking out. It's like, oh, I don't want to hear that, bro.
Like, how much for the baby?
Yeah. How much? I got my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, ribs.
Crazy.
Oh
Yeah, don't
man,
make
Fat
him do
Bastard
that.
is the best guy, bro.
Oh yeah, good
Enormous.
stuff there, guys. Yeah, I mean, it is.
Oh,
that's fun
God.
stuff there. A lot of good Austin Powers. They should do a little remake. He should bring that back just for good old sakes. But I don't know. Here we go. See, nice crack up here in IBIT. Now running into 47.65, right out at the lows. It is what it is. So Peter, what does that mean, Peter? And the Corsos, I don't really get what that means. But yeah, we'll take it for a grain of salt. What you may find funny, or what we may find funny, you may not find funny. So it's each their own, right? If we were all the same, then it'd be a more robotic than we would most likely like. So different personalities are very, very key. Okay, look at Microsoft, man. This is crazy, Sharif. It's continuing.
Hold on, he
to bleed.
apparently has a commercial with Mark Carney. Mike Myers
Has he actually? I know he was on. I know, of course. Yeah, I seen he was on Saturday Night Live not too long ago. Did you see him when he was on SNL?
No.
And he had the Canada's Not for Sale T-shirt on.
Okay, I can get behind that. We don't have to be for sale for anybody.
No, exactly. But yeah, I mean, I didn't know he had a little stint there with Carney. So that would be referred to why that individual in the chat said what they said.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I didn't understand what was being talked about there. I was so confused.
Right. So there you go.
So now I know.
Something, my buddy. Okay, stop saying that word there, Mr. Dan.
Chill, Dan.
Yeah,
you keep getting timed out, bro. And the Bears versus Bulls gets very upset, and you don't want to upset him, right? So
But
be
yeah,
careful there.
that's all I got going on here right now, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
Heading around the lows. Microsoft continuing to bleed here, now down 4% on the day, my friend.
Ew.
Yeah, really tough look on Softy, or sorry, 3 1/4.
Goggles,
3 1/4.
goggles,
Goggles
is getting
down.
shellacked.
Yeah, still continuously.
4.5. It's by far the
But the
worst.
thing is, though, you read that little piece that I said there, how they're getting fined. They have to pay that $100 million. I don't think that's. I mean, that's quite a bit, but is it that substantial? I don't know. But any weakness here will continue to drag these stocks.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I really don't think it's catalyst-driven as much today, Joseph, as overall sentiment with the tariffs. Because, I mean, they're all, without question, all of them are red. Let's just go through the list here, baby. I mean, because it's an ugly day. It's real ugly. So we'll just put this on the side, as you can see over here. You got Uber down 3%. Netflix down 4 1/3. Microsoft, as Joseph was just saying, 3 1/5. Meta 3 1/3. Apple 2.4. Goggles 4.4 or 4.5 or 4.4, depending on which one you're looking at. Amazon 4.4. Tesla, which started the day green, 3.3. 3.6, excuse me. NVIDIA is the best performing Mag 7 name on the day. Did that 38.80 break? It did. Okay. So Coreweave lost the bottom there. We had support at 38.70. It lost it. Now the low of the day on the IPO, Coreweave, is now 38.15, excuse me. It's trying to defend that $38 level, but it's not a great day to go long, I guess, right now with the overall sentiment on the market and the NQ down almost 2 3/4. We lost 19.5, guys. We're, I think, 1,000 points lower than we were, I think, a few days ago here. So that is, it's a bit of a tough day on the market. So going long some of these names, whether or not this is a good company or whether or not it's going to be received well in the coming days, kind of doesn't really have a whole lot to do with what's happening currently because this market is very negative. Every single indice right now, the ES is down over 2%. The NQ is down 2.7. The Dow is 1.8. The Russell, doesn't matter. Small cap is getting shellacked, 2.52 on the day. Here comes the low day again on Coreweave, and it loses the bid again. 38 incoming. There's buyers at different levels here into that $38 area. Big size here, right at 38. It's defending for now, but for how long? That size is getting taken out, baby. That size is getting taken out. Here comes 37.99. You just feel it. There was that size gone. It's getting taken out. I mean, it pops back up a little bit, but that size at the whole dollar was getting taken out quite aggressively. So we'll see if it comes back into that whole dollar, what kind of size we have posted there. Here it comes again as it zigs and zags above that $38 area. Guys, Coreweave now down technically 4.85. And we've barely even had an opportunity to say hello. Here's 38 again, defending for now. You kind of feel there is a hidden buyer. There is an iceberg bid here at 38. There was like literally no size posted there. So 38 getting defended for now, but it's hardly a glowing endorsement to go long at that 38 level unless you're looking to scalp. And you would be 25 pennies in the money if you were brave enough to take that. I am not. So we're going to continue to watch here. The spread is not bad. It's about 5 pennies. It's already done 13.4 million shares in the very little time that it's been open, despite the fact that it is negative on the day. We were talking about Coreweave, guys, a brand new initial public offering. Here's 38 again, and there it goes. It loses the bid, Joseph Wilson. 37.90 or 88 now, the low of the day, but it does find its way up back above 38, but for how long? Not for long, baby. It dropped again, Katina, man. This thing is zigging. It's zagging. It is losing the bid. We're down now 5 1/3, Joseph.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we're in some NVIDIA shorts. We're continuously bleeding. Nice call there on that IPO, Sharif. Moving really, really well. CRWV. There it is, guys. That is some IPO trading from Sharif himself. Put on some nice trades. Nice trades.
It was okay. I got out there a little bit. The Katina Man did better on that one.
That's all right.
The Katina Man is short Coreweave right now.
Flipped it just like that. All right, guys. What is Adair up to?
Okay.
Keep an eye here on a lot of these legacy automakers. Here's Ford. Here is GM. Both of these are pushing into lows. Basically, Donald Trump was asked here during this event, what are your thoughts here? Should Americans buy cars now because of the fact that tariffs are going to come into place? He said no, Americans shouldn't buy cars now because he really believes these tariffs are just going to push production into the U.S., so he does not think there's going to be an issue with car prices. He also mentioned Apple here. He basically said that apparently Apple CEO Tim Cook told him that he would not have invested $500 billion in the U.S. if not for tariffs. So AAPL near low of days. Keep an eye on these automakers. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Adair. Appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, like, what's he going to say? The economy's falling apart. Don't buy cars. Yeah. So it's really interesting to see that. Again, I think, Joseph, like what you and I were saying to start off the show, that we're kind of in the bottom of the first. You even want to say the bottom of the second or the top of the second, whatever. In this whole
early stages. Early
to be fair, I don't think that we've really seen the full picture yet. And it's not going to be nice from day one, man. What person would thought, the tariffs are coming in, I'm going long the market,
right? No one, maybe me. I might have thought.
No.
I know some individuals in the chat. Definitely, but that's okay. Sharif, and
I know some individuals in the chat. This guy's taking shots.
Anyways, but Sharif, if we want to take a look at the overall market here from the peak all the way to where we're currently sitting now, we're down about 13 1/3 here. Sorry.
So we're past correction.
So we're past. We're heading into. We're getting into that territory, and I mentioned that it's going to take a significant amount of time in order for us to recover what has already been done here. So 15% move from the bottom back to the top. But guys, I do believe that it's going to be a choppy next couple quarters, right? So everybody's fears of recession on the loom. If we have back-to-back negative quarters of GDP, then yeah, that can definitely come to play. But that's going to take some time. We got to be patient with the Fed, et cetera, and wait for all these data prints to come out. But I do believe that the market is still continuously pricing in and baking in what potential downside and economic downturn we may possibly have, all right, guys? So we need to be really patient information. It seems to be just sell the pops as we run into some key support levels. And all I can do is just give it to you from a technical standpoint. But here we are. If we crack this, then we might head even lower, Shreve. In the back of my mind, I had more of around 15 to about 18% correction before you got any sustainable bounce. And I mean, the market will significantly, it will continue to be irrational longer than you can stay within this game. So just get out. It will hold on and it will do things, and things take significantly longer than what you're anticipating. And that's when I refer to in options trades, buy more time, because if we believe that the market is going to turn around in a couple of weeks, no, I think this is going to be a lot lengthier than what we suspect here, guys, especially with tariffs coming in April 2nd, and it's going to take time to see the effects of those. So market going to continuously price in some downside. I think it's time to sit on some cash and wait until those bottoms are set.
There you go.
Get involved in
there you go.
Market.
There you go. I still feel like we get a bit of volatility. Some good news comes in, the market pops, then he comes back with some reciprocal tariffs. Europe does this, China does that. You know what I mean?
Or if he has like, okay, the talks went over well in the EU,
there you go.
Canada, Mexico.
There you go.
We're not going 25%. We're going to take a couple steps back. We'll go. We'll slap each other each with 15, 12.5%.
Absolutely.
Or whatever it may be. So.
All right, we want to shout out one of the guys that we love on this show. Honestly, one of the dudes that I personally like a lot, Big Spile Burdette. My man is down 50 dang pounds. He takes the market down and he takes his weight down at the same time. Shout out to Big Spile. Loving it, man. Love the daughter there. A hell of a family man and a hell of a guy in general. We want to shout out the Spiled one. Big Smile Burdette now. Big Style. You want to call him Big Spile.
Styled.
He's good with all of it, Joseph. So shout out to him. We miss him around here. Hope you're doing well, brother.
He put in a super chat. Did we see that? Yeah,
I didn't
we
see
missed
that.
the super chat.
I didn't see it.
Why do I spy with my little eye down 2%? Thank you for the $2 super chat. We also, I don't think we went through the super chats today, Sharif.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so here we go. Great lesson from you, my friend. 50 Nook right there. But look at those guns. Okay, some of our female audience says they love to watch this part of the show, but don't really remember much after.
Hey.
That's what you do. You put them in a daze there, Sharif.
He's talking to you, bro.
I thought it was your lesson of the day.
Oh, that's right. My bad.
There you go. He confuses himself even. That's how big the guns are there, guys.
I don't know about that.
Love Adara's infographics, says Bebot 5000. Thank you, my friend. And then I think that's $7 Australian there, maybe. I was trying to catch, so I was trying to catch bids in this market and it was getting burnt, but decided to switch to shorts 30 minutes ago and making a killing. This market is super weak. Dang.
There it is. Yeah, it's weak. It is what it is, guys. I mean, you're just gonna have to accept this as it is.
Yeah,
and there's two ways to make money, baby. There's two ways to make money. So if you are holding on to equities that you don't want to let go of, and you want to, because you always hear about timing the market's is more important than timing the market.
Yeah.
You always hear that expression. So if you have equities you don't want to let go, take some some puts against them. You can sell some calls, right, and generate revenue. There you go. I'm learning a thing or two from you, bro. You can also get some puts, hedge your bets against the market, shorter dated. So that's the look there. I don't know if we're going to have a special guest or not, because someone related to Adara has weaseled their way into the studio. Yes, guys, we are covering Coreweave. It is down 5.25% right now. At the low of day, please screen if we can. 37.90 right now is the low of the current low, but it seems to have found a bit of a base in and around that $38 area. It's not really a glowing endorsement to go along. But 38-ish, high 37s for the most part has been the bottom for the last about 10 minutes, 15 minutes or so. This current candle still has about 4 minutes left to go on it, so we don't really want to make any pronouncements, but it does seem like there is a bit of support at this level. DDT. I love that name, man, the DDT. And I don't mean the pesticide. This market needs some Creatine. I got some creatine in my gym bag right there, baby, because we're still, I forgot to tell you, I'm extending the loading phase another week.
Oh, okay, so
It's
you're
a 3-week
taking,
loading
you're taking
phase,
like 10 milligrams
because
a
it
day.
told me that I can legitimately take 10 consistently if I was doing hit a lot or if I was doing doubles, and you already know I'm doing doubles.
hitting those
So I was
doubles.
thinking, I asked him, like, is it bad? It's like, well, if it's going to be excess, your muscles will throw it out unless you're doing really, really high intensity workouts. So that's the look right now. Who else we got here on the blockchain? Joseph, I think markets like this are only going to make us better traders. That I could not agree more. I know that was for you, but we got to pay a bill here.
No, you take you in there for sure on the blockchain, said that Sharif and Joseph there.
All right, ready?
Ready.
New traders, listen up. First month, it's free. That's right, we're waiving the fees. Trade smarter, not harder by upgrading to Elite. You'll be able to analyze, strategize, and then hopefully after all that, you can capitalize. Our platform, it's got everything. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, and game-changing charts. You'll be able to predict better with backtesting, reliable real-time data, and global markets literally at your fingertips, all in one platform. Do not miss out. Execute your best trades now. Ready to elevate your trading? Scan that QR code or check the link in the description. That is the look there. Let's see what else people are talking about there. Tom Anthony, DLTR, you think a retrace to 69? Let's have a look, brother. We'll load up DLTR over here. Look at, yeah, there we go, DLTR, excuse me. So the question was, you think it retraces to 69. So I'm assuming you're talking about intraday. Not intraday, unless we really tank here, but it does seem to, I'm assuming you're talking about 69 because that's yesterday's low and that's the previous day's closing print. So I'm assuming you're thinking is a rounded top. What also could be the case here is a higher low. And today, technically, you have a higher high, even though it's on a wick basis. So what I see from the last 2 days is indecision, higher high, higher high, and then a higher low. I don't know. Like overall market weakness, sure, could bring it down. But the current trend on DLTR, at least of these last few days, not bad. Let's go to the 1 hour. So like here it is. So we have the area low. Yeah, it's defending this trend line quite well if you're looking back to March 21st. So that's a week's worth of trend right there. Before that, we were quite consolidative, coming from a downtrend. So yeah, it's entirely possible. Absolutely. Guys, it is now official.
What?
510,000 subs. Literally just got to 500,000, I think, like less than a month ago. Is it not? Was it
You have the
a
option
little bit more
to like
there?
and subscribe.
Okay.
This trade
Let 'em
has
know, Joey.
unlimited upside.
Let them know. Let them know. There it is. 510,000 subs and more appreciative to you guys we could not be. Obviously, it goes without saying, everything that we make into the show, we literally throw back. You have no idea what's going to go on behind us. Everything you see behind us, gone. This entire studio, the trading floor, is going to be an actual like filming studio, live broadcasting studio. They're spending insane amounts of money on this revamp that you're going to see live in living color because it's going to be impossible to hide from you guys. The noise is going to be there. The build-out's going to be there. The contractors are also going to be there. So everything we get, we throw back. Literally, we're trying to grow the channel. So if you could like, subscribe, and share to somebody who may benefit from this content and from this channel, we would be forever grateful, for real about that. So I appreciate you, Adira. Hello, by the way. Hello,
Hi,
Melody.
hello.
I've heard lots about you.
Hi there, sister.
Yeah. What do you got, Joey?
Yeah, and I agree with you on that front. Maybe we get a one of those. Remember when we did that when they were doing that construction? We get another day or two trading from home and just
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
I don't know if that happens, but
Yeah.
they're probably going to make us come to the office.
Yeah. You can be hopeful. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah,
maybe we
true.
put something across here while they take all of this stuff
Oh,
out here.
more
the Minnesota,
cash.
the Minnesota trader. All right,
I
we
like
like it
that.
up there. We like Minnesota. Sorry, I hit the done a couple of times. You guys are great. Thanks for the entertainment during these long days. And no, I'm not really trading on the Apple Watch. Okay, we didn't think you were. Good thing you're not trading on the old Apple Watch there.
Yeah, I don't know if
would
that
be a
was the right
first.
idea.
Yeah, that would be a first there that we've seen someone crushing some transactions on the old Apple Watch there. But one thing to watch here, Sharif, is Apple, and it's not looking too good.
Stop, Joseph. Stop,
oh yeah,
bro.
I forgot. Yeah. So feeling it down to 218 on the day. Filling up some of those gaps. Can't even hear you in the advertisement. What a burn.
What does that mean?
I'm not too sure. But we'll take it for what it is, my friend. Throw a couple bangs up there, too. Because why not? It is Friday, and your boy's playing some pickup tonight. The Leafs lost last night. Yeah.
Have you ever watched Friday the movie?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's Friday.
Yeah, come on.
How does it go? It's Friday. You got nothing to do. You ain't got no job. You got nothing to do, right? It's like, well,
That's
we got
classic,
jobs,
man.
but
Classic
the
stuff.
sentiment remains. So I don't know if you agree with that or not, but
I mean, what is the youth unemployment in the city here? 6%? Or
is it actually though?
Yeah.
Legit?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure
it's
we
not
went. Yeah, we were 6%. So those teens, get on those old e-scooters and stuff there, folks, and do what you got to do to put in that money. But yeah, not looking too good. Our labor market isn't as strong as yours south of the border.
No, not even close.
Not even relatively close. So yeah.
And it wasn't always this way, guys, by the way.
No.
I want to really make that clear that there has been parity between the two countries for like the last half century. And actually, we actually weathered the great financial crisis better because we didn't over-leverage housing. We didn't have the whole mortgage-backed security issue. And the banks on this side of the border are heavily regulated. They're well-capitalized. So they didn't engage in any of that speculative behavior. So we didn't even have a big correction, to be honest with you guys, in the early 2000s, late 2000s, early 2010s. I mean, it kind of stayed the same. It flatlined for a few years. And then to be honest with you, 2012, it didn't look back. The real estate here is insane. So there were times where the Canadian economy was good. I'd say the last 10 years haven't been so good.
No, they have not been. No, GDP has definitely been on a steady decline there, Sharif. There's no questioning that. The housing prices going through the roof, doubling, etc. And it's funny, when I was reading up on on a lot of this stuff, they were like, we're going to tax the foreign buyers more, but there's such a small percentage of of the people actually buying in the market. It's like, okay, you're just using that as a typical excuse for rising housing costs, but it wasn't necessarily the case. If you really dig into the numbers, it was 1 to 2% of people buying were only foreign buyers.
Right.
So again, in my opinion, I don't think that was necessarily the case. I know they implemented more bylaws on that too, just saying, okay, yeah, you got to be a real student because everybody would be a student.
Well, exactly.
And buying these, and they would send their nephew over here to U of T or something like that, but they're still living in China or India or something. So yeah, it is what it is. All right, we're short.
Where's Ozan at?
Yeah,
where's Ozan?
We don't got that. We don't got the Ozan today, but we're gonna take one of these here today. Sharif, yeah, that's our rinsing, my friend. Unfortunately, on IBIT. Didn't work out for us, but we are short some NVDA, and it doesn't seem to want to break down. Again, just out at the lows is a really, really tough look. We didn't get that continuation. Should have got it at 47.70s. We did not. But this NVDA trade looking to continue to bleed. What are you laughing at?
Mean Gene 1980 is one of my favorite guys in the chat right now, man. He's reciting Friday well, man. You play with my money? He's like playing with my emotions. Yeah. Remember Big Worm? But they call him Big Perm because he comes
I thought it was the guy that had the cross eye there. No.
Guys, we got long Coreweave again. I got long at 45s. They scalped up into 75, so we took a quick 30 on CRWV. This one looks like it's recovering just a skosh here. So let's load up the what's it called? The 5-minute and have a look at some technicals here because I feel like we may be coming into some resistance. Where's my, there it is, CRWV. Let's load up the 5-minute. I just want to show this for a second. Yep, and surprise, dang surprise. Look at this. The opening print. Remember what we talked about in today's lesson? I literally said, look at the opening print as one of the areas of technical resistance. That's exactly what we got. We opened up at 39. sorry, the low of this, opened up at 39. We dropped right there once we got into 39. Big boy drop. So that closing or that opening print on CRWV, that $39 area comes back in as an area of technical resistance. I hope everybody obviously prints up a storm, as that is, I like when there's good vibes all around, whether I'm involved. So CRWV, $39. Area of technical resistance. It's zigging and zagging right now down to 38 and 2/3. Let's see if it's able to take out 39. I think if we takes out 39, we can start possibly looking at 39 as possible support. No, it's not the day for the real big boy long. At least it feels that way, but anything can happen. Also, Joseph, it's declining volume. I know that you're all about that life, and the volume is kind of dropping right now on Coreweave with lower highs on every successive volume bar. So keep your eye out on that. I will be looking for a 39 break and take if I'm still trading while it does that. So I'll keep my eye certainly here on CRWV as it defends 37.50 generally seems to be the low there, with multiple bottoming tail candles into that 37 3/4 to 37.5. You could kind of feel the buyers were picking that up, and then however it happened, we ended up taking out 38, and now we knocked on the door of 39 only to have that door shut in our face because it was, again, an area of previous technical support. Stevenson, ATN, Sharif, question. Do we look at high volume when the price goes and go down? What do you mean? Price goes up and go down? Or do we look for high volume when we go up and low volume when we go down, having a little bit of brain fart? I don't think it's only volume, high volume is relevant when we go up. I think high volume when we go down as well, especially to gauge sentiment. If you're seeing outsized red bars for the volume, well, then that gives you an idea about who might be in control of that name on any particular occasion and whatever time frame you're charting. So I don't think it necessarily only applies to longs or only applies to shorts. I don't know how you feel about that. You're more of a volume guy than I am.
Yeah, I'm logged out here. Sorry, Sharif. I can't.
No worries.
Yeah,
no worries.
for some reason it just logged me out and I can't get back in here.
No
so
problem.
I can't
continue.
I can't read that question. But I can cover this. There's only about 10 minutes left here. So yeah, sorry guys. For some reason it logged me out of the chat, so I can't reply. I know someone said, is it true, Sharif, that the housing prices in Toronto or in Canada are on average around 750K? Yeah, it is very true. It is very true. And they're saying they're from Long Island. It's not even that, but take into consideration that's probably
only
about,
not pretty, bro.
Yeah, no, it's about 5 and a bit, probably
coming
American
down
or something.
Right now, though. I don't know if you've seen, like, I've been looking at some of these houses. I told
you
you,
look
at
at
Scarborough's,
Scarborough's
and you could get a house for under $1 million now, which was like not the case before. So
yeah, a little bit in the condo market as well too. Down.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if you've been noticing how many assignment sales there are. Keep your eye on assignments.
Are they really low?
Joseph.
Or there's more, eh?
Oh, way more. So assignment sale, guys, I don't know if you guys have that south of the border. It's when you close out with a builder or the construction company directly, and then you can't close once it's done, either because you don't want to because it's dropped in price and you don't want to be in negative equity, or the stress test, like rates went up, so you no longer qualify. So many different reasons why you don't want to close. So what you can do is you can assign it to somebody else so you don't lose out on money. And what we use that assignment for is to gauge the real estate market, the strength or the weakness. So lots, Joseph.
Yeah, that's a very valid point. My friends and I were looking to grab a blueprint in Wasaga Beach because they're tearing down Wasaga Beach. And looking, so I think that would be. So yeah, I mean, as for assignment, I bought resale. I think a lot of my friends bought on assignment. And the thing that frustrates it, so when you're just buying the blueprint, my one buddy on Yonge Street, not too far from here, his was delayed and took an extra 1.5 years.
Yeah, and they can do that depending on the contract that you have with the builder. They can kick it down the road.
And then you'll get the assignment fees too, right? So the builder can continuously build, and they charge you a little bit extra, right? So that's the tough thing about it. And there's a minimum requirement come opening. So if you are going to take out that mortgage on assignment, you need to have that 20% down by that time. So,
which is intense in and of itself.
Right, exactly. But I mean, you got 5. They do it in increments, which is very interesting. So, but when you first sign up, it's like 5% here, another 5% 6 months. 5%, so on, so on,
Exactly.
until you hit that 20% threshold. But yeah, the housing market, very, very much different. I remember in 2014, 15, whatever, you would drive down the Gardner Expressway, and all it was cranes off the highway,
Exactly.
on top of buildings, cranes, and we don't necessarily see that anymore. There's far, not nearly as many as what we've seen about 6-7 years ago, guys. So a lack of supply maybe, but we're building a lot more coming. I know they want to give the municipalities incentives to continuously build. That's what Pierre wants to do, just build the homes. But I don't understand why they're making it so complicated. Plenty of land, just start building, and building up here in the condo in Toronto. We don't have much space there, so you gotta build up.
Which is insane because we're the second largest country in the world by size.
But
so
yeah, we're like, we want to be confined.
green belt.
Yeah, because we want to be confined in this little radius that Toronto is. But here, anyways, NVDA starting to come back down. It's not breaking through these resistance zones. That's a positive signal. But you can see that the overall market is bleeding, and we're only down about 1.7% here in NVDA. So lagging for a reason and not as weak. So we have to be alarmed for that. For some reason, I'm getting that feel that it might squeeze and just crack through these levels if we don't continuously bleed here. But you can see that we are constructing higher lows and then lower highs as well too. So we'll take that into consideration. We'll be a little bit more patient. There's only about 8 minutes left here in the show. So again, all the way down here, market being down 2%, et cetera, and a lot of these big names being down 3% plus.
All right, Elizabeth wants to know about CRWV. I got long again, so a bunch of longs today. 3 different trades, Katina man, on this one. And we got long 38.82. I scalped up above that 95 penny area. I fat fingered, okay? Let's just call a spade a spade. I had a couple of entries and a couple of outs on this one, and I took everything out all at one level, and that is much to my chagrin, and I'll tell you why, because we had a big boy price spike up there, and now it was quite fleeting, as you'll be able to see. We popped up into 39.50, and unless you had an order posted there, a resting order, 99% chances you didn't get filled anything above 39, because it spent like all of 10 tenths of a second up there. Now the volume is still declining, guys, so keep an eye on that volume. It's not increasing at the moment, and that makes sense. I mean, there's going to be a lot of market on open volume there, but we got 3 successive candles on the 5 with higher lows. So I'm not saying this is a great setup for a long here, but there is buyer exuberance right now. 4 successive candles, with this 135 candle being the area low. Subsequent candle at 40, a little bit higher, 45 higher, 50 higher. You guys get it. We are putting in higher lows right now on CRWV. We did, as I mentioned, broke through 39, very fleeting break as the short sellers or the profit takers came in aggressively there. Here we are again at 39. And why is 39 such an important level? As our lesson explained today, the opening price is at least an intraday area of technical resistance. And here we are again. We're at 39s on the bid, 39.06 on the ask, but we're not clearing. Look at that. I mean, there's a lot of zig and zag. Here we go. Do we get bamboozlement again on this level? I'm going to try it, and if it breaks below 39, I'm out. So let's go ahead and set up some orders here at 22s. I'm going to give this a little bit of room here. Let's see if it can run. There's definitely short selling here in the high teens. Here comes 39 again. If it drops below 39, I'm going to flatten out, but we're going to wait to see if we can get something possibly to the high side over here on CRWV. There is buying in and around there. Here comes 39. It looks like it will lose the bid, sadly, so we will take a bit of a loss on this one. So we'll go 3 for 4 on this one, but right back above it goes again. Let's just keep an eye out on this one. Maybe I was a little bit too tight in my stop placement, but I wanted to see the buyer step in at 39, and we didn't get that for the moment, but we're above 39 again. Can we get some continuity here, or is this topping tail candle keeping us down, topping up at 39.50? Joseph.
Hey, there we go. So yeah, guys, Apple, taking another leg to the downside. Nice. Yeah, not 2.5% now, 2.5%. NVDA is still hovering around, lagging, holding up relatively strong, but we'll be patient. Maybe this breakdown will come into play. Yeah, slowly curling over here in the market, it seems, but you can see that the price is really starting to compress as well as the volume starting to fall off a cliff. So that can be good for some potential bottoming signals signals. You can see we have a double bottom possibly right here as we have those two doji prints on the Qs, guys. Let's expand this a little bit more and get more in depth to what we got going on. So a nice double bottom, almost to the penny. So that level is in defense, 468.50. Let's take a look at the chain here, guys, to see what that's got going for us and telling us, okay, is that the potential bottom here on the day? Let's find the Qs. Let's find the Qs.
Go.
Boom. Yeah, boom. Let's go. Bang. There we are. So, Sharif, nice work there, brother. So, what is it? 468.50. What do we got around 469? Nothing crazy. Maybe this can hold us up here. Those 469 puts. So, nothing crazy to and be like, hey, yeah, that is going to stop us. But the NVDA looking like it wants to squeeze to the top side. Show them what you got going on. Calm down, bro.
The Katina man's telling me I have too much emotion, which is like the pot in the kettle. Come on, bro. I love you over there. We got long again, Joseph. I had to, bro. We got long 38.98, and we took everything out there at 39.40. So I'm pleased with this trade. 4 for 5 on this mother. You know what? We're going to keep an eye out on this one for that $40 level because that's an aggressive retracement, Katina, man. I mean, we were down at 37.50. Now we're talking about 39.50, weaseling back in, hopefully maybe, to the actual IPO price, which funny enough, we still haven't gotten to. That's that $40 area, by the way. We ended up opening below the IPO price, which again is not really a glowing endorsement for a long, but hey, TA is what it is. We have a seller here at 50s, Joseph, 49s and 50s, that is. Can we take them out? Big boy volume coming in. Keep your eye on my time and sales. When you see that orange and that green, that's buyer exuberance. Look at that. Orange comes in. We take out 50. Can we use now 50 as support, Katina, man? Let's keep an eye out on Coreweave. We're only down 1.1 right now. And here comes 39.75, 39.90, guys. That is the high of the day. We're awfully close to that level right now. Good recovery off that 37.50 here on CRWV. Joseph.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, squeezing, IBIT working out. Unfortunately, we're not in that name anymore, but that is okay. Now breaking through this resistance level, you can see, so right out at the bottom and then climbs higher, puts in those higher lows, continuously, gradually climbing higher and higher. Is the market slowly going to curl over? Maybe, possibly. Amazon still bleeding here, Sharif. Down to 191, 98, so 192 we'll call it. And it looks like it wants to continue to the south side as we run into some resistance here on IBIT. NVDA looking like it wants to somewhat squeeze. Price really starting to compress here, guys, on NVIDIA here. So let's see what happens. Is that volume going to step in? Are we going to squeeze somewhat? Maybe, possibly. Or which way do we go? It has been lagging. Is it going to break down? I don't know. I feel like if it was going to participate, it would have done so, as everything is down significantly, and we're still just hovering around the volume-weighted average price. 109.90, it cracks that, then we'll just get out of this trade here. So, yeah, that's it, guys. Anything? Oh, I can't even look in the chat. I apologize for that.
Here's 40.
Yeah,
Joseph, we're at 40.
You're at 40.
We're at 40 right now. We're doing a live, baby.
Go in. Hop in there.
I'm not hopping in. No, we got like 1 second.
You're out. Oh, you're out.
Yeah, I'm
okay,
done.
so
I'm done this trade.
That's the IPO world, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's perfect time, Joseph. We're at 2 o'clock. The big kahunas are coming back on.
Go.
We're at actually that $40 level that we were supposed to open up at, which we didn't.
Yep.
So here it is. That is, I think, the technical high of the day, guys. $40 on the dot. So if we clear that, we could get some participation here. We're almost back to Greensville, or almost back to Greensville. Okay, again, we're below that $40 area. That is the level. That is the line they're saying between negative and positive. But Joseph, it is now 2 o'clock. So we're going to send you off to the big boys, Neil and Sean.
Have a good day.
We'll see you guys
Have a good
on
weekend.
Monday. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, you can stop here. Come on, Neil, man. I'm trying to hop in the chat right now. Yeah, wow, Coreweave.
Oh my goodness. Okay, let's be real for a second. Coreweave might be